Hello friends and welcome to a brand new tournament here on MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubeca. This is our Asian tournament, which is the beginning of a larger tournament which will involve 4 continents, which will all come together in the finale. Advancing in the tournament here today will be 8 of our teams. I'm Brooke O'Shea. Glad to have you with us for event number 1 of the Asian tournament. We have 16 teams as always in these tournaments. We will narrow that down in half to 8. As you see the team statistics for 2019, a lot of the countries that are here today will not be featured on that stat sheet on the left side of the screen, as we have a lot of our less well-known countries and some of the countries that have not made very many appearances here on Marble Fubeca. We're glad to have them here. There's one of them, Kazakhstan. Afghanistan is here. Of course, you've got some of the more well-known countries, the Korean Republic and India, China are all here. And we'll get a look now closer at our competitors today. Japan and Uzbekistan will face off, as will Bangladesh and the Korean Republic in the bottom left corner of the tournament. Then we have Pakistan and Myanmar, and then Kyrgyzstan and Nepal. Israel will take on Georgia, and then China against Bhutan. India and Kazakhstan, and Brunei against Afghanistan. So some of the smaller countries will have their opportunity to make it big here. We'll start with Georgia against Israel. And our tournament today is similar to the Plinko style video that we did a little while ago, as these marbles will race down the funnels and attempt to score the most amount of points possible. Israel with the blue, and Georgia has the dark red. There's a 6 for Israel, as they're the first down. Georgia follows with a 6. A couple of 2s for both sides. There's a 6 for Georgia, a 5 for, or 6 for Israel, a 5 for Georgia. And after one turn, 16 to 15. Georgia in the lead. And that difference was the 1 for Israel that had fallen in a 2. Then we would have had a tie, but instead, Georgia will move on. So they are through, and now China against Bhutan. Very little room for error here. China in the red, Bhutan is in the yellow. Bhutan down first. They've got both of their 3 marbles went down first for Bhutan before China had 1 drop. First down and through, though, is going to be China. They score 6. Bhutan has 1. There's a 1 for China. They lead at 7-1. Bhutan going to have to do something. There's a 3. They're within 3 now. This could be dangerous. China scores 8. They're up by 11. Bhutan in some serious trouble. They're not going to get it done. 15-7, and you can add 6 more. A trouncing by a final of 21-7, and the 8 for China put them out of reach as the Chinese advance. Bhutan will have a short-lived appearance here in this Asian tournament. They are done after 1 competition. And it will be China against Georgia in the quarterfinal of the Asian tournament. The top 4 qualifiers, so those who would make the semifinals of the Asian tournament itself, will advance to take on the top 4 of the other 3 continents. North America, South America, and Europe will have tournaments as well. Kazakhstan will take on India now. Kazakhstan in the blue, India in the white. And we'll see who comes out first. India has a couple on this lowest funnel. That could be big. 5 for Kazakhstan. They go down first. 5, and now a 3 for Kazakhstan, a 5 for India. Another 5 for India. They've got the lead. Kazakhstan retakes the lead at 13-10. 2 for Kazakhstan. India's got the lead, and they've got the final marble. They're going to get the win, and that'll be by a final of 22-15. Couple of 6s there for India. That ends up doing it, as they will move on and take out Kazakhstan. And now Afghanistan against Brunei. Or Brunei, depending on how you want to pronounce it, but here on Marble Fubeca, we're going to pronounce it Brunei. They're in the yellow, and Afghanistan in the black. Afghanistan has their first 2 marbles down first, but Brunei comes back, and they have the first down to the final funnel. First to finish really doesn't matter, but you can set a tone if you're the first one to finish, and the first to finish will be Afghanistan. They score 5. That's a 7 for Brunei, another 5 for Afghanistan, now a 2, a 5 for Brunei. We're tied at 12. Afghanistan only has 1 more marble. Now they're down by 6. This is a big run. Brunei might pull off an upset, and they will by a final of 24-14. An impressive run. Best run of the day so far belongs to Brunei, as they take out Afghanistan, and did it rather convincingly by 10 points, nearly doubled them up. Brunei will take on India. Marble Fubeca's Asian Tournament rolls on as we begin event number 2 of the Asian Tournament. I'm Rick O'Shea here for MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubeca. Today we have our billiards contest, which will be a very exciting, another collision sport, which Marble Fubeca has become known for. You see the billiards table right there. And here for event number 2, the goal is to have the most marbles remaining on the billiards table, kind of the opposite of the traditional game, in which the goal is to knock the balls into the pocket. The goal instead is to knock your opponents into the pocket and to stay on the table. You'll have 3 marbles from each side, as you see the team statistics so far this year. 3 marbles from each side representing their countries, and they will do battle on the billiards table, and whichever country comes up with the most marbles still on the table at the end of that run will advance, as we will finish out the field of the 8 teams that will remain in the Asian tournament for the 2 events. We have our first event that determined half of the field for the quarterfinalists, and the other half will be determined right here. Here are the teams that have already survived and moved on to the quarterfinals. There are 4 of them. They are Georgia, China, India, and a bit of an upset in the top right quadrant, it's Brunei. And here are the countries that are competing today. Japan will take on Uzbekistan, and Bangladesh against the Korean Republic. And then in the top left quadrant, it is Pakistan against Myanmar, and Kyrgyzstan will take on Nepal. And so we'll have 4 more competitors advance to the second round of competition here for the Asian tournament. And we will go from there. Again, the top 4 are going to advance to our world tournament, which will feature 5 different continents. First up is Uzbekistan against Japan. Japan will go from the right side, Uzbekistan from the left. They've got a little bit of green in them, and they win 2-1. Japan's going to take this one, as they're able to get 2 of their marbles to stay on. There was 1 and 2 that both fell in. They almost had a clean sweep there, as one of the Japanese marbles actually fell into one of the pockets and stopped Uzbekistan from potentially having all 3 of their marbles unable to finish on the board. So Japan is through, and now Bangladesh against the Korean Republic. Korea on the left, in mostly clear marbling, and it is a mint green for Bangladesh. Wow, nice run here, and Korea is going to have all 3 of their marbles stay on. Only 1 fell through the entire round. It's Bangladesh, and they are eliminated. Look at the replay here. Wow, look at that one. In and out for Korea. And there was the one that fell in on the bottom left, or bottom right, rather, for Bangladesh, as they are eliminated. Very impressive run, and a good job of avoiding some trouble there for the Korean Republic as they move on. Pakistan against Myanmar now. Pakistan will go from the right, with mostly green, some yellow, and like a little bit of red there for Myanmar. They are down first. Oh, that's not good at all. Myanmar had all 3 shoot straight through, and Pakistan is going to have a clean sweep. 3-0. Look at this. 1, 2, and one of Myanmar's marbles didn't even make it onto the board. It fell out off of the billiard table. That was a dominant performance there by Pakistan, helped out by the fact that it took them so long to get down the course. And so Myanmar with an unfortunate end to their tournament. And now it will be Nepal on the left in the black and red, and Kyrgyzstan in the red and yellow. They come down similar times, and Kyrgyzstan is in trouble. They're going to drop 1 and lose this matchup. Nepal, again, another country able to remain with all of their marbles on the billiard table. And right there it is, the one that falls for Kyrgyzstan and eliminates them from competition. So we've got our 8 competitors now as Nepal. The competitors have been dropped from 16 to 8 as we bring you the finale of the Asian tournament here on Marble Fubeca. I'm Ricochet for MSPN's coverage as always. And we have our grand finale. This is the half pipes, which will result in points. In this finale, we're going to have 3 members from each team that will compete for points. As you can see, the course is layered with different point values for which spot in the course you end up in. You see the team statistics for 2019, but right now our competitors aren't worried about the overall statistics. They're trying to be one of, if not the 4 marbles that will advance to the World Tournament. They're trying to win this competition and take home Asian tournament bragging rights and that great trophy in the middle of our bracket. Japan will take on the Korean Republic, and Pakistan will take on Nepal. On the other side, Georgia and China, and India and Brunei. They haven't faced off in a while. Those were the competitors and the countries that advanced back in our first video. Now Japan against the Korean Republic. Japan with a dominant win in their first round matchup. And here we go. Japan on the left with the white and blue, mostly clear and blue, the Korean Republic. And look at that. Whoa, Korea all the way down near the 7 and 8. Japan is going to lose this matchup. They score 5, 2 in the 2, and 1 in the 1 marker. And it's a final of 10-5 for the Korean Republic. This is a teamwork-heavy competition where you're going to have to try to propel your teammates further and further down the course. That is exactly what Korea did, and they are moving on to the semifinals. Now on the other side, to the top right corner of the bracket, it is Brunei against India. That shows us a bit of what we're going to see. You see you can score as many as 9, but I think you're going to see a lot of 1s and 2s, maybe some 3s and 4s. India is got the white marble, mostly green for Brunei, and Brunei is in trouble. They're going to score 4. 1 over by the 5 and the 6 for India, 1 at the 1 and 2. India's got 2. They're going to win this one. We'll see if it's 8 or 7. It'll be 8. 8-4 the final. India gets the win. And again, a lot of scoring over near the 1s and 2s. That's where 5 of the 6 marbles landed. So if you can get one of your marbles further down the course, you've got a great chance to advance in this competition. That's what India did. They're moving on. And now Pakistan takes on Nepal. Remember, if you win this matchup, you are in the World Tournament. You don't have to win your competition. All you need to do is get into the semifinals. So Nepal against Pakistan, and a spot on a very big stage is on the line. Nepal is in the red. Pakistan is in the green. They make their way down. And oh, look at that! A 9 for Pakistan. Nepal is going to score 2. Pakistan puts up a huge number. They got 2 all the way down towards the end of the course. 18 points. And Nepal scores 2. I'm not sure where their other marble went. I guess it somehow landed off the course. Here we go. Let's find out. Yep, there it is. Did not make a clean transition from the first half pipe to the second. It's knocked off the course, adding perhaps some injury to insult there, as Pakistan with a dominant 18-2 victory. They claim the 3rd spot in the semifinals, and now China will battle Georgia for that final spot. That was the blueprint of exactly what you want to do, and then on the other end, exactly what you don't want to do if you're Nepal. Here's China. They're in the red. The dark maroon, maybe, would be Georgia. And we'll see. Georgia making headway. They've got a huge run. They've already got 9. They've got 1 in the 3s and the 4s, 1 in the 7 and 8. China has 2 of their 3 finished. They've got 4 points. There's 8. There is a 3 for China. And it's a huge 20-7 victory. A 9, an 8, and a 3 gets it done for Georgia. They pull off the huge upset against China. Big win there for Georgia on an upset over the Chinese. Great run, and that's all you have to do. Worry about yourself, don't worry about your competitors. Pakistan against Korea now. You see the Korean Republic was watching on right at the starting gates. Nice run by Pakistan. Korea's in some trouble. They're only going to score 2. Pakistan's got 4 already. They've got another one that'll head for the 5 or the 6. One of the Korean Republic marbles did not finish this competition. And that is an absolute backbreaker, as Pakistan will win this one by a final of 9-2. We'll have to maybe take a look at the replay. Yeah, there it is, over near the 2 is where that other marble was. And, oh, so close. But the transition, yeah, not quite good enough. You have to have a very clean transition from half pipe to half pipe, otherwise you run the risk of not scoring any points at all. And that's what happened to the Korean Republic there. It's the same thing has happened twice in a row now for the competitors of Pakistan, helping Pakistan with 2 easy wins. Won that one by 7 points, won the other one by 16. Now Georgia against India. Georgia's got the highest point total at any point in this competition. That's not going to happen here. They're in a lot of trouble. India scores 1. Georgia right now has 3. India, though, has 1 over by the 7 and the 8. 3 and the 4. There's a 4 for Georgia. They've got a 7-1 lead right now. Now it's cut to 7-5, and India takes the win 13-7. Now, it just was not going to happen. Once you, if you see a competitor down by the 7, the 8, even the 5 and the 6, and you've got 2 of your marbles landing in either 1 or 2, you're in a lot of trouble. And that was the case there. Pakistan will take on India. But first, the 3rd place matchup between the Korean Republic and Georgia. Winner gets a spot on the podium. Here we go. Korea's in trouble immediately. Korea's got 4. Georgia has 4. But Korea is going to finish with 6. Georgia still has 2 in the air. One is going to get 3. The other will pick up 6. Georgia takes 3rd place in a spot on the podium. So a disappointing run there for the Korean Republic. We had a good start, but can't finish it off. Now it's Pakistan against India. Pakistan has had troubles for their opponents, lead to 2 easy wins thus far in this competition. Let's see what happens here. India has 1 going further, but they've got 2 that are going to have a hard time now. And that's going to do it. Pakistan, it doesn't matter what India does, they'll pick up 6, but Pakistan picks up the win, and they take the Asian Tournament Cup. An underdog story in Pakistan, not featured very often, but they come through with a huge win for their country. Georgia, give them credit, they get a podium finish. India gets 2nd, Pakistan gets 1st, and you can give some credit to the Korean Republic as well, because they will play on in the World Tournament. As you see there, Pakistan gets the victory. They take home the cup, and they earn the bragging rights as the winner of the Asian Tournament here for Marble Fubeca. So congratulations for them. A big win, a big upset, and hopefully some momentum being built for Pakistan. India gave it an effort, but that wasn't the case. As you see, there are the 4 teams that are now going to qualify for the 2019 World Tournament. Korean Republic, India, Georgia, and your champion from the Asian Tournament, Pakistan. So until next time, we will have another tournament coming up. But I'm Ricochet, and you've been watching MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubeca. Hello friends, and welcome to MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubeca. I am Ricochet here for the Quadrilla Race, which is, as you can see, a very daunting track, which will encompass quite a long race. The goal of this race is going to be to get your team to finish first, and so whichever team will finish first will move on. As you see, this gigantic course, which is the Hape Quadrilla course, which is why we are calling it the Quadrilla Race, as you can see at the beginning, near those starting posts, you're going to have to get through those pegs before you enter some very complex spirals, very complex funnels that will
shoot you out all different places. You are going to lose sight of some of these marbles at some point, so we will try our best to keep as well of an overview sign as you can. As you can see there are many different ins and outs of these different parts of the course, as you see some of the countries lining up and getting ready to go. Should be a very, very interesting race, as we have our 16-team field fighting for that cup right in the middle. And you can see some of those countries lining up, and there they are, India and the Philippines, and there's Ecuador. Mexico up toward the top. Mexico, who won our last standalone video that we have put up, which you saw the half pipes, the very large half pipe course that, as I mentioned, was almost like a Plinko style event where you score different points based on where you're landing. Nothing like this today. This is just a good old-fashioned marble race where you want your entire team to get down as soon as possible. And so our first matchup is the Netherlands against Brazil, and we are underway. Netherlands in the red and black. Everybody making their way through. Brazil, classic, mostly yellow. And now they go all different ways, and it's almost just a guessing game as to who's in the lead. First one down right now is the Netherlands. We can tell you that much as they head up the conveyor belt. There is Brazil with a couple, and the Netherlands with two more, and they begin the funnels. One half pipe there, and Brazil is the first one down. There is the Netherlands, and the Netherlands had one shoot right out toward the right side. They are the first one down to another one of those lower funnels. Look at the marbles up towards that top at the very first funnel before you get to the half pipe. A lot of them very tight with each other. Only one marble so far has chosen the left side, and that is the Netherlands all alone. Everybody else either hasn't made a choice yet or has gone to the right side. First one down is going to be... maybe not. Here we go. It's going to be Brazil out of nowhere. Big run by Brazil to take it. Here comes the Netherlands with two. You have four marbles, and Brazil's in a little bit of trouble. Brazil gets one more down. Only one to go for the Netherlands. They are circling it. They fall, and it is the Netherlands that is going to take it. Brazil will be eliminated with still two marbles. One marble has two more funnels to get through. A exciting start, but almost a disappointing finish there for Brazil, as they did have the first marble and a pretty heroic attempt by that first marble to get down first, passing up a couple of the Netherlands marbles, but the Netherlands is going to move on. And now it's China against Argentina. China, very intimidating black and red, and Argentina in the light blue. They head down this wooden funnel, which will shoot you out all different ways. At this point, it's kind of hard to tell until you get to the conveyor belt, and then you can see who's really fully in the lead. Shaking the conveyor belt is China with the first two, then Argentina. Another Chinese marble makes its way up. Looks like Argentina has the lowest marble. Argentina is actually in a lot of trouble. They've got three marbles up towards that first funnel. They need some help. One to the left side, that is China. Everybody else to the right side. The first three right now are all Chinese. This is a dominant run right now by China. Will they be able to finish it off, though? That's the question. The last marble right now is China. That could be some trouble. Argentina fighting with themselves. China's down first. Let's see if they can finish all of theirs before Argentina can get away with another close win. There's the second Chinese marble. Here comes the first for Argentina. Left side really moving slowly. Argentina has their second. China has number three. Can they finish it off on the left side? Circling it. China is going to fall down first, and the Chinese advance. Argentina closer than Brazil, but still going to be eliminated nonetheless, as that was a closer matchup, although China did lead wire to wire basically right there. And we have two that are through, and now it's Ecuador against Mexico. Mexico coming from the left side in the black and green, multicolored yellow, red, and blue. The colors on the flag of Ecuador are on their marbles as well. Looks like Ecuador's out to the early lead. But again, depending on where you fall, it is really back and forth on who's ultimately going to take the lead until you get to this point. And it is Ecuador with the first 3, and 4 out of the first 5 are going to be Ecuador marbles, and we'll see if they're able to hold off. We have seen some of the marbles struggle when you get here to this part in the race with the funnels. Can cause problems. The half pipes we have seen many times can definitely cause problems. And for the first time, we've got a couple of marbles go to that left side. 1 Ecuador and 1 Mexico. Mexico, though, is in some trouble. They have basically all the marbles that are in last. This is maybe even a bigger blowout. First one down is going to be Mexico, though, fittingly enough. And then Ecuador off to the left. Ecuador has their second, has their third, and they're very close. Ecuador with a 4-1 advantage. Still 3 marbles had to cross for Mexico after Ecuador had dropped all of theirs, so an easy win. And just by way of how many marbles had crossed for the opponent by the time that the winning team had finished, this is the biggest blowout. Although, it was a little close there, and Mexico did have the first one to move on, but it is Ecuador overall as a team that will advance to move on to the quarterfinals. And we get a battle of red, white, and blue. It is France and Russia. Slowly making their way down. Everybody done with one portion of the wooden funnels, making their way towards the conveyor belt now, which will take them up and over and on their way to the funnels and then to the half pipe and down, where they have to make their choice on which set of funnels they're going to take. Pretty tight right now. Nobody really pulling away yet. France and Russia. You can see up at the top of the screen a couple of the blue marbles very close there. France and Russia cross the line almost identically. They both have 2 in and 2 to go. However, it is going to be too little too late for France, as Russia, despite the fact that they went 2-2 early, they finish off their 2 before the other 2 for France can cross the finish line. They still have a couple more funnels to go for that last French marble, and Russia will advance to the quarterfinals as well. From the bottom right quadrant, I should say. Chile on the left side, that's with the more blue. More of the blue is going to be Chile. Poland is their opponent, and they are also mostly white, so a lot of white on both these marbles, but that is white with just red for Poland, and it is white with blue as well as red for Chile, and everybody is making their way toward the conveyor belt. Right now the advantage goes to Chile. However, it looks as though now Poland has taken that lead. And yeah, Chile has the last marble right now, so they are in the danger spot. Doesn't matter who finishes first. You can tell Mexico or ask Mexico about that, because they will tell you who finishes first doesn't end up mattering. It's who's in that last spot. And right now, Chile's in a little bit of trouble. They are well behind everybody else. Still at that half pipe, they're stuck. Now they will head to the left side, trying to make up ground. Chile does finish first. There is the first and second marbles for Poland. It's 2-2 right now. There's Poland's third. There is Poland's fourth, and they will advance. And it was that last marble. Chile with a respectable run, except for the final marble, and that ends up costing them, as they still have 2 more funnels to make it through. Slowly going down. You can see those marbles are very tight in color. A little bit more clear on the Polish marbles, as they will advance for their country into the quarterfinal, and they're going to take on the Netherlands. And now we get our matchup between Germany and Portugal. It is going to be Germany in the black on the left, and Portugal with mostly green coming from the right side. First marble down was Portugal. First two down were Portugal. Everybody's down. And making their way now through the maze that is that wooden area of this course. The Cape Quadrilla course, or what we are referring to as the Quadrilla Race. First round matchup still. And Germany has the first two. First three, first four. Or no, first three. But the last two to come out of that top funnel were both from Portugal. The Portuguese struggling a little bit. Now it is Germany that's in last. Pretty good run there by Portugal to take advantage of a little bit of a mistake. As you see a different angle here, showing you from the top, and now right back into last place would be Portugal. It's very tight. Portugal has their first through. They have their second through. Here comes number 3. They've got a 3-0 lead, but now here comes, oh, there's a big run for Portugal, and Germany in trouble. Circling and through is Portugal. And Germany, after having a huge lead, they had the first 3, and there were 2 for Portugal that were at the back. It is Portugal that will advance. They will take on China. Our next matchup is India against the Philippines. India with the mint color and the light blue, almost sky blue, representing the Philippines. Everybody making their way down, heading for the conveyor belt. This is where it gets very tricky. First through was the Philippines, but it is mostly right now India. It looks like they've got the advantage. And it is India that has the last marble right now. Both these countries with very shiny representatives. And we will find out who will be the first to fall and claim, I guess, a personal victory there. 3 of the marbles for the Philippines are off to the right side. First down was India. There's the Philippines with their second and a 2-1 lead. 2-2 now. It's 3-2 India, and India's going to advance. As the Philippines, once again, this has been a trend here in this early going. 1 marble ends up struggling for their country. And more or less, it's just 1 that ends up knocking them out. Very tight all the way through with the exception of the final Philippines marble. That is circling around that final funnel and will fall now. And finish up what is a disappointing run for them. India's through. They're going to take on Ecuador in the quarterfinal. And our final matchup from this first round is the United States against Spain. Spain in the tan color, white with red, is the U.S. In our half pipes matchup, we saw the U.S. sport silver, but they've got mostly white this time. Everybody heads for the determining factor of really where you are standing at this point. It's the U.S. with the first, but it's also the U.S. with the last. So Spain has found their way through, and now Spain has the final 2 marbles. And let's see, yep, Spain's going to have the last 2 to come out of that top funnel and make their way toward the half pipe. U.S. has 3 that will go down the left side, and they are the only 3 down the left side. All 4 marbles trying to go down the right for Spain. And it looks like it might be a blowout for the U.S. They have their first. They are circling their second. Here comes Spain. They knock down their first, but the U.S. knocks in 2, 3, and 4. And a dominant win for the United States to advance to the quarterfinal round. As Spain had the final two marbles, the marbles running 7th and 8th for virtually the entire race. After they got out of the conveyor belt and down to that first funnel, from there on, the Americans dominant. And they will advance to take on Russia in the quarterfinal. And we head back to the Netherlands, who were in the first matchup. They take on Poland. Poland in the white, Netherlands in the red. A slow track here on this, beginning with the wooden funnels. The speed doesn't build up until a little bit later when they head down the track and make their way onto the conveyor belt. Netherlands had the first one down. The last one down will also be the Netherlands. Similar to what we just saw from the US in the final matchup the first round. Last out of that first funnel will be the Netherlands. Ooh, very tight with each other. Poland takes the advantage. Poland making their way to that final half pipe with their last marble. Netherlands still in that funnel, and now they knock with each other, and Poland ends up losing out as the Netherlands knocked Poland and just went right on through. Said, excuse me, I'll take that. And knocks Poland right now with a struggling marble. Both have one in. Poland has two. Now the Netherlands have two. Poland circling their third. They've got it. It's going to come down to that final marble. Two funnels to go. Now only one funnel to go for everyone. Netherlands with their third. Here comes Poland. Here comes the Netherlands. It is tied, and at the buzzer, Netherlands. They advance, and Poland goes home in a buzzer beater. A nail biter right there. And the Netherlands will advance to the semifinals. And Poland got to be disappointed right there. Here is China against Portugal now. China with the red and black stripes. And they have the final three marbles to get out of the beginning of that wooden funnel there. Portugal with the green. Making their way to the conveyor belt. And the first four, how about that? 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the running right now are Portugal. 5, 6, 7, and 8 are China. And we'll see how well China can avoid that continuing to happen, because that is a very big advantage right now for Portugal. Can they take advantage? We have seen big leads blown. Right now, the final three marbles are all from the Chinese. They had an easy win in round one. But not coming quite as easy right now. Nobody down yet. Portugal has three that are with either two funnels or one funnel to go. Same can now be said for China, but they have one marble that's really struggling. First one down is Portugal. Second down is Portugal. Here comes the first for China. There's the third for Portugal. Second for China, but Portugal circling it. And they will win. They advance with, again, as I mentioned, one marble can ruin it for your team, and that is the case for China. They actually got that third one in first despite being down big. Everybody else made that comeback. But Portugal will advance as China unable to complete what would have been a large comeback, falling one marble short. We move on to Ecuador against India. Ecuador in the yellow, India in the mint green. Ooh, wow. Ecuador had one of their marbles get stuck, had to be pushed along by that last marble. And 3 out of the final 4, and the last 3, in fact, all belong to Ecuador. So they're in a little bit of trouble here. Look at that. All of India's marbles were on that bottom funnel. All of Ecuador's marbles were on the top funnel. Again, a big lead getting late into this race. Can India hold on? That was something that Portugal barely was able to do. Almost overcome by a big comeback from China. Ecuador would like to do the same. Right now it's pretty tight. Let's see Who's the last to get down from that top funnel that we see on the screen right now? It's going to be Ecuador. And the first down, meanwhile, will also be Ecuador. They will take the personal win. They've got the first 3. Here comes Ecuador. Trying to be pushed along. 1 in, 2 in, now 3 in for India. Again, it's going to come down to the wire, and it's Ecuador. They do complete the very large comeback, which nearly turned into a comeback bid by India. Tight one. But Ecuador moves on, and now we get the big boys. Russia against the United States. Russia in the dark red with white stripes. The U.S. in the white with red stripes. Very distinguishable which one is which. These two countries facing off. The spot on the semifinals on the line. The final spot in the semifinals. And the U.S. has the final marble right now. And now that changes hands to Russia. Last one to get to the half pipes is a telling sight. Right now, that is going to be the U.S. Although that was the case for the U.S. in their first round matchup, and they were still able to hold off. And in fact, they had a sweep, a dominant win. U.S. right now closest to the finish line, but also they still have a marble that's up at the half pipes. That marble is killing the United States right now in a huge amount. They still can't get out of it. Now they finally do, but they've got 2 whole funnels to make up on the next closest for Russia. Russia has 1 down. The U.S. has 3, but they're going to be ousted, it looks, by 1 marble. The theme continues in this competition. Russia advances, and the U.S., despite having a 3-0 lead, they are eliminated. Russia moves on to the semifinals. The Netherlands against Ecuador for a spot in the championship. Netherlands barely held on to beat Poland. They are in the red. Ecuador in the yellow. A very, very tight matchup for the Netherlands to get them to this spot. Wow, look at that. Everybody was bunched up there at the conveyor belt. Had to take their turns making their way up. Fascinating right there. Again, important in this matchup is the last marble down to the half pipes. And the last 2 marbles down to the half pipes right here are going to be the Netherlands. They have the 2 marbles that seem to be in the lead right now, but they also have 2 marbles towards the bottom. Now they're trying to gang up on Ecuador and pass them. They got 1 through. They've got only 1 through before Ecuador retakes the lead on towards that bottom of the screen. And now the first to finish is the Netherlands. But again, that's not what matters. It's when does your last marble cross? Netherlands with the 2-0 lead. Ecuador has their first. The Netherlands have their third, but they also have 1. It's going to come down to this final marble, and they are in the same funnel. Who's going to fall first? The Netherlands are going to go. And the Netherlands with another tight win. They advance to the championship in thrilling fashion. How about that? Very tight. As Russia and Portugal watched on, now they are in the spotlight. Whoa, very slow getting into that wooden funnel. Everybody slowed themselves down there and gave the marbles that were in the funnel a little bit of an advantage. But again, the slower marbles are the ones you want to focus on. And there is a pretty big disparity right now between first and last. And the last marble belongs to Russia, who is struggling with a lot of their marbles towards the back. However, it is Portugal that actually went down first from that top funnel. And let's see which one is the final one to get through that second funnel and into the half pipes. It is going to be Portugal again. And Portugal not exactly having the success I think they would have envisioned here. Russia has one already down. Portugal still has one in the half pipes. They're down to their funnel. Let's see if they can make a run as they finish their first. However, it looks like it's a pretty big advantage right now for Russia. 2-1, the lead belongs to Portugal. Now it's 2-2. Both of the Russians are down to their final funnel. Russia moves on to play for this championship, and they will face the Netherlands as Portugal, once again, outdone by that one marble that could not get through the half pipes. Every team member is important. One marble can cost you. But first, it's our third place match between Ecuador and Portugal, who had one marble cost them. Each eliminated because of one single team member struggling, as they will one last time make their way through a large wooden structure and head for the conveyor belt. We are lucky that we have not seen any marbles get stuck on that wooden part, which would form a disqualification. We've seen a couple of marbles who have been stuck, but nobody has permanently gotten stuck because those have not been the last marbles to make it through to that point. So that is a break. Nobody has had to be disqualified because of a team member unable to finish the race. Starting to make their way down through the funnels. Ecuador still has one more marble to make their way to the half pipe. They do now, and they need to get out of there as quickly as possible. If I'm not mistaken, everybody went to the left, and they did. How about that? First one down is Portugal. However, the last two also belong to Portugal. Portugal trying to take advantage of the fact that they have their marbles to work with. They have a 2-0 lead. Now here comes one for Ecuador, and now Ecuador's got the last two. They're in trouble. Big comeback by Portugal. And I have to knock somebody out of the way. Portugal and Ecuador comes down to the final one, and Portugal is going to take third place as they get this win 4-3 in another tight matchup. And that brings it to the finale. It is the Netherlands in the brighter red with black stripes, and it is Russia in the dark red with white stripes. The Netherlands have barely advanced the last two times. They had a pretty nice win in their first matchup, but after that, very, very close in the quarterfinals and in the semifinals. Everybody through one last time onto the conveyor belt. Russia with a 4 marble lead, if I'm not mistaken. Big advantage. Here's the last one down. One of the Russian marbles is still stuck in that funnel, and it is going to be Netherlands' last one. Ooh, very tight. They collided but did not get stuck. That was both Netherlands marbles there that could have had disaster. They're going to need to make a comeback on Russia if they want to once again come away with a close win. First one down is Russia. Second one down is going to be Russia. Third down is Russia. Fourth down is Russia. It's a sweep. 4-0 as the Netherlands run out of magic in the finale. Russia wins it 4-0. They take the cup. Second place goes to the Netherlands, and Portugal, by way of winning the third place matchup, they get onto the pedestal as well. Coming in third, the Netherlands in second, but the crowned champion is Russia as they get the win via a sweep in the finale. A dominated showing by Russia. And they finish off this matchup on the Quadrilla Race on the Hape Quadrilla track with a pretty easy win in the championship round. So that is all for us here from MSPN representing Marble Fubeca. I am Ricochet, and thank you for watching. ESPN's coverage of Marble Fubeca continues. Ricochet here once again as we welcome you to yet another tournament-style race. This is a very long course which can have an opportunity right there where anything can happen. You can make one wrong turn, one right turn, and it can totally change these races. This is a one-and-done tournament style. Only one marble will go for their respective country. Once again, 16 teams battle not only to get onto the podium, but to earn that trophy right in the middle. They are France, the Netherlands, Russia, Italy, England, Germany, Portugal, and Spain on the left side of the bracket. And the right side of the bracket is Uruguay, Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, and Argentina, Honduras, the United States, and Chile, which consists of the right side of the bracket. We begin in the bottom left corner with Netherlands against France. Netherlands has the orange, black, and blue. It is mostly blue with a little bit of white and just a tiny bit of black mixed in for France. They make their way through the first funnel. Everybody chose that left side, which is a little bit longer, but if you both go the same way, it kind of doesn't matter. They make their way up the conveyor belt. One thing that you notice about this conveyor belt is that there's a little bit more room in between each prong that will bring up a marble, so an opportunity for the Netherlands to gain a little bit of a lead, and they do have a tiny bit of an advantage. They are into that blue funnel and very quickly through the blue funnel, making their way down to the first yellow funnel, and France has caught right back up. They are both circling that bottom portal, and it is still the Netherlands out in front in the second of 4 yellow funnels. Netherlands is through to the third, coming off of a very tight runner-up finish in a couple of events, couple of tournaments. They have the lead right now. Let's see who's going to make their way down through it. First, it is going to be the Netherlands. And now, if you go down the left side, it's a little bit longer, a winding course. If you go down the right side, it's typically going to be a lot faster. And it is the Netherlands to the right side, almost as if France can do nothing but watch and have them be eliminated. That is exactly what's going to happen. 1 minute and 22 seconds for the Netherlands to survive, and France will come through the same way that we just saw the Netherlands do, but it'll take 11 more seconds. 1 minute and 33 seconds, and France is eliminated. The Netherlands move on to the quarterfinals. And we head to the top right corner of the bracket. It is the United States in silver and Chile in white. And it's the U.S. in the lead right now. They both went to the right side, which is, as you can tell, a much, much quicker option. And they also got caught in a spot where those prongs are a lot closer, so not as big of a lead for the U.S. to be able to gain right off the bat. Although they do seem to be gaining a tad bit as we go through the almost like a racetrack portion of this course as they go around and around. And the U.S. is in that blue funnel. There is Chile. They almost made contact with each other. They may have made contact, actually. Both circling around that first hole of the first yellow funnel, and it's the U.S. out first. Chile losing a little bit of time. They are still trying to get around. Now they do. But did that time cost them? The U.S. is through the second of 4 funnels. Chile having a hard time closing around those funnels right now. The United States closing in on funnel 3, and they are going to get it almost immediately after Chile drops to funnel 3. It's about a 1 funnel lead right now. Let's see if Chile can get back in this one. Circling around, they will make their way to the final funnel. The U.S. will make their way through the final funnel. Which way do they go? Left side can leave it open a little bit for Chile. Right side's going to make it really difficult. Chile still in that 4th and final funnel. The U.S. has not made it through yet. They're both going to go down the right side. It's going to come right down to the finish. Who makes it out first? Chile may be in the advantage spot. Nope, it's the United States that will come across first and will take out Chile by just under 4 seconds. 1 minute and 30 seconds for the United States, which was a significantly slower time than the Netherlands. That was a much closer matchup. But the U.S. survives and moves on to the quarterfinal. And now you get Portugal against Spain. Portugal immediately drops behind Spain. A little bit of a slow start, but they both end up right next to each other. And so far, we've only seen the Netherlands end up in one of those spots where they are able to gain a large advantage right off the bat. Now through the red portion of the track. Look at that great camera view there. Down into the blue funnel and immediately into the yellow funnel is Spain. Here comes Portugal. And Portugal making up a lot of time right now. They come up, oh wow, they came through almost at the exact same time. That is a great run right there by Portugal. Portugal actually might be in the advantage spot now. Nope, it's still Spain that comes out first. And Portugal now makes their way into the third funnel. Spain in the lead, but Portugal's done a really good job in these funnels to keep it close. They are both into funnel number 4. And it could come down to that wire and determining if you go left to, for lack of a better term, the frowning face portion, or to the right side with the smiley face, the shorter, more direct opportunity there. Oh, they made contact with each other. Spain goes to the right. Portugal goes to the left. Portugal is going to try to make their way through. Oh, they're going to do it. A comeback for Portugal. And they beat them by less than a second. Trailing the entire time, Portugal pulls off the upset. That is an incredible run at the very end by Portugal to advance. And now Uruguay went to the right, and Brazil goes to the left, and it's a huge lead for Uruguay right off the bat. They are already making their way up towards the top where it's going to drop them off, and they are going to make their way around the red portion of this track. A huge lead. Now just coming to the red portion of the track is Brazil. The very first opportunity for one country to take a large lead over the other, and immediately Uruguay takes that advantage. They're giving it up just a little bit though, still having a hard time getting through that blue funnel. They gave up almost the entire advantage they gained at the very beginning. Going through that first yellow funnel, and Brazil comes back to take the lead. Uruguay has blown the early advantage. And who has that inner line now? It looks like it's still Brazil. They are through the second funnel with the lead. Halfway done with these funnels. And they are starting to gain a lead. They're down to their final funnel. Uruguay trying to circle around the opening of the third funnel. They will drop down. Let's see what Brazil can do. How big of a lead can they gain? They are through. Now they drop down to the half pipe. Which way do you go? It almost looked like on that last run, Uruguay went to the left and it helped them. Now they're going to end up knocking with each other. Oh, they're going to go opposite sides again. Here we go. Who wins it this time? Got to get through that funnel quickly. Here we go. It is Brazil. And Uruguay struggles at the end. Brazil with a comeback after a miscue early. They come back, take the lead, and then happen to hold on. They advance to the quarterfinal. Action-packed early. It is Russia against Italy. Italy with the right side, and they're going to take the advantage as well. Russia in the dark red, and it's Italy in the blue and yellow. Not as big of a lead, but still a lead nonetheless. I look like it was 4 prongs or so before Russia will make their way onto the red portion. Still a pretty good sized lead. Into the blue funnel goes Italy, but here comes Russia, and it looks like they're going to be about a funnel apart, as dropping down to that first yellow funnel right as Russia entered was Italy. Now they're in the same funnel, and again, Italy separates themselves. Both circling around the bottoms of their funnels, and once again, Russia drops, and then Italy follows suit to maintain essentially a one funnel lead. And this time a little bit bigger of an advantage for Italy. They gained a little bit there. They're on their final funnel of the large yellow portions of these funnels, and they will make their way to the half pipe with about a funnel lead. It's a matter of whether or not they can make that decision and be knocked off of the half pipe themselves. They do. They will head for the left side, which is the winding portion, But it's a pretty big lead right now for Italy, and they are going to win this one handily as they finish at 1:33, and we'll see how long it takes Russia. They really struggled with those large yellow funnels and ultimately were unable to come back as they did not make it even to the half pipe by the time that Italy was finished. They finished at 1:50. It is a nearly 17-second win for Italy as they will move on to face the Netherlands. And now it is Honduras against Argentina. Honduras in the red and yellow. Argentina mostly silver, and again, they're going to gain that advantage. We've seen that the last few times. One marble has gone to the left, one marble has gone to the right. It is very clear there is no way to go around it, that if you go to the right side, you're going to get an advantage over the other team. The left side is by far a much longer and more time-consuming portion of track to have to gobble up. Into that blue funnel goes Argentina. Let's see if they can get out of that funnel before Honduras enters. Basically even, dropping down when one gets in. Very similar to what we just saw with Italy and Russia, where Italy was able to hold a one funnel lead. Not quite that big of a lead, because Honduras making up some time here. But it is still Argentina with the lead. Honduras making it very difficult, though. Honduras nearly making contact with Argentina as Argentina drops down to the third funnel. Here comes Honduras. This one could be close. Final funnel of the large yellow variety to go. And both are in. Gonna have to take a comeback if Honduras wants to get out of this funnel first, though. Very tight. And let's see which way Argentina decides to go. They might be forced into it. Oh, again, it's going to come down to the end. Who's going to come out of that funnel first? It's Argentina that will not be able to survive. Less than a second separates them. Honduras with a comeback. And clearly, as they are going to face the United States in the quarterfinals, and we see now England against Germany. Germany in the all black. Very menacing look. They will head to the left side and immediately have to come for a comeback. We've seen, though, this is a course that clearly lends itself to the comeback. We saw Brazil with a large portion of track that they had to make up, and then they did that, took the lead, and had to survive a comeback attempt of their own. Into the blue funnel first goes England. And they are going to make their way down. They're in the first of 4 yellow funnels, and so is Germany as they're trying to pick up some ground there. Looks like they are just a tad bit. The real difficulty is if you don't get off that half pipe at the bottom of this course before the other country reaches the half pipe, you could be in some trouble because they can just knock you right out of the way. We almost saw that in that last matchup. They ultimately ended up forcing each other to opposite sides as down to the final funnel goes England. Germany trying to catch up. The half pipes are pretty difficult here. They have caused a significant amount of stress, I think. Here comes England. And let's see if they can finish this off quickly, or will Germany make contact? England down to the right side. One more funnel to go. Germany moving very quickly, but it's going to be too little too late. England moves on with a time of 1 minute and 34 seconds. And now Germany coming to a standstill. 17 seconds was the largest win. And that might be passed. Let's see. Germany going to come to the end. They're going to have the slowest time we've seen so far, and they're going to lose by just over 20 seconds, 1 minute 54. So Germany at the end, ultimately, when you've got nothing left to play for, it makes it a little harder to keep the intensity up. And so we move on to Colombia against Mexico. And Mexico with the early lead. And you've got 2 prongs separating the respective countries.
Look at that. They look like they're about one length apart for a portion of that track. Very quickly out of the blue and into the first yellow. Now they are neck and neck. And we'll see what happens. Once again, into the same funnel. With still another funnel to go, and Mexico will drop first. Still 2 more full funnels. Let's see if Mexico can drop quickly here and try to gain a little bit of extra advantage. They're down to their final yellow funnel. I'll tell you what, give credit to the Netherlands and France. We saw them move pretty quickly through this course. I feel like they've been quicker than anybody else in that first run. First matchup of the day. Mexico circling around. They're going to make it out and head for the half pipes. And they're going to go down the right side and go for the one funnel and a straight shot to the finish. Here comes Colombia. They're going to need some help if they want to make that comeback. It looks like Mexico's going to fall. They're going to get the win. At 1 minute and 39 seconds. And now it is Colombia that will try to decide which way they're going. Almost coming to a standstill now. They'll go to the left side. Head down one funnel and then the S's to get them to the finish at 1 minute and 56 seconds. So another 17-second win as Mexico takes care of Colombia rather easily. And we have our quarterfinal matchups. First one is Netherlands. The Netherlands against Italy. Whoa. Contact there, and Italy goes to the left side. The Netherlands gain the early advantage. They're to the right side. And they are headed for the conveyor belt right as the Netherlands are making their way off the conveyor belt. We have seen some success when they get the early lead. We've also seen some pretty good comebacks. Onto the blue funnel, and the Netherlands are now going to drop down. Not exactly a dominant moment there. They have opened the door back up for Italy. Everybody's close. The Netherlands are going to fall first, though. Onto their second yellow funnel. And here comes Italy. And the Netherlands will drop to their final 2 yellow funnels. 3 funnels total left because you still have that one small orange funnel, depending on which side you choose. The Netherlands fall again. They're down to that final funnel. Again, the half pipes can make or break you. Both are in the final yellow funnel. Looks like Netherlands. They are circling it. They are headed for the half pipe. And let's see which way they fall. The Netherlands with the lead over Italy. Here comes Italy. They are going to knock each other around. The Netherlands to the right with one funnel and a straight shot. Italy to the left. They've got to go through the S's. They get out first. And it is the Netherlands in a buzzer beater. They beat them. Oh my goodness. Is that 5/100ths of a second? I believe that's what the official scoring was. They beat them by 5/100ths of a second. And now the U.S. against Honduras. Honduras just got off to a terrible start. They got stuck in the blue portion before you even get out of the first real obstacle. And then they went down the left side. And so the U.S. trying to make their way around this red portion of track and gain as much of a lead as they can. And they are already going to make their way onto the blue funnel. And still 3 full passes to go before Honduras will get there. Let's see how big of a lead the U.S. can gain. Can they get out of that funnel? They do before Honduras makes it. That was pretty even, though. And I think the U.S. might be a little disappointed that they didn't get a larger lead. Honduras drops from blue to yellow. The United States trying to make it through the first yellow, and they do. Still holding an advantage, but it looks like Honduras is gaining just a tad bit. You can only hope for as good of a finish as we just saw between the Netherlands and Italy. The U.S. down to funnel number 3. That was a crazy finish. And they are maintaining a 1 funnel lead. Here comes Honduras. How quickly can you get out of this and give yourself time in that half pipe to get through? U.S. still in the lead. Here comes Honduras. They are circling quickly. They may make contact with each other. They are through, and oh, they're both in the half pipe. The U.S. gets out first. They're going to follow each other, and the United States is going to get the win. And 1 minute and 38 seconds, and following suit at 1 minute 42 is Honduras. Valiant effort after a just awful start, but the United States is into the semifinals. And now we will find our opponent for the Netherlands. England takes an early lead. Portugal goes off to the left side, but again, like I said, you go to the left side and you're not done. Honduras nearly made that entire comeback against the U.S., and they got stuck in something that wasn't even an obstacle, and then they chose the wrong path to go down. So by no means are you out of this until somebody hits the finish platform. England trying to make their way quickly through that blue funnel. And they fall just before Portugal makes their way in. And again, good job so far by England to maintain that lead. Portugal looks like they're about to drop, but so is England. Very smooth run that time. The English trying to advance to the semifinals, and they gained a little bit of time there. For just a moment, there was an entire empty funnel separating these two. So England did a great job to gain that lead. They're going to drop a little bit of it back. Had a little bit of a slow start there to try to get out of that final funnel. They make their way down to the half pipe. Still a pretty good sized lead. Let's see if they can capitalize and get out of the half pipe. Here comes Portugal. England still trying to decide. They're going to make contact. Portugal comes out first. They both go down the left. It's going to be a matter of who comes out of that funnel first. The answer is, England at the end wins it by just over a second. Portugal had the lead back after a bad start, and England swipes it away at the last second, stealing that victory. And now Mexico against Brazil. Brazil gets off to the right side. Mexico with a slow start to the left. We have seen some really impressive finishes here. Honduras almost made that comeback. Couple of lead changes at the very end of that last matchup. And of course the photo finish, 0.05 of a second, separating the Netherlands with another nail-biter against Italy. Brazil out of the yellow funnel, or out of the blue funnel into the yellow, and they are now followed by Mexico. Seems to be really trying to force the hand of Brazil there. Getting very close to those marbles touching with each other. Both into the second funnel, and now Brazil drops down, reassuming the lead. Mexico follows, but Brazil gained that time. They went down almost immediately after Mexico entered. Let's see how much time they have to try to maneuver the half pipe. How much time do they need? Could be another question. Mexico trying to swarm around it. Let's see which way Brazil goes. They will go to the right side. It's a straight shot. Let's see how quickly Mexico can try to make something of this. It's going to be too little too late, as Brazil will come across at 1 minute and 40 seconds, and Mexico still stuck in the half pipe. And they will go to the left side. The more scenic route, if you will, taking the S's to the finish line. Dropping out of that final funnel and crossing the line at 1 minute 56. So Brazil held that one, the lead from start to finish. They will face the U.S. in the semifinal. But first, it is England against the Netherlands, who hung on by the skin of their teeth there. And they are going to be behind early.
Both had to go through the same side, but it is England who makes it out much quicker, and it is a 1, 2, 3, 4 prong lead right now going through up that conveyor belt. This is where the speed of the marble can become important. If you are a quick marble, you can make up a lot of time, and it looks like the Netherlands is making up some time, as they are both now in the blue funnel. That is a big win for the Netherlands, and they may have gotten the inside track there. Nope, it's going to be England coming out of the blue funnel first. Both are in the yellow. Netherlands have done a good job to get a little bit tighter, but does their luck run out? They have had a lot of luck in very, very tight situations. Maybe not necessarily luck, maybe it is skill. Able to win those matchups, just barely coming through with a comeback at the last second against Italy. A 5/100th of a second separating those two. But right now they're going to have to make a comeback against England, who is in the fourth funnel. The Netherlands circling and making their way to the fourth funnel. But how big will that lead be for England, and how big of a head start do they get for the half pipes? Here it is. How quickly can they get out? Very quickly to the left side, and they will make that victory stroll through the S's. They are going to advance to the final. It is England through in 1:37. And the Netherlands will take the same route and finish off a run that is going to take just under 2 minutes at 1:58. So England is through. Do they get the United States or do they get Brazil? U.S. in the silver. Yellow and blue. Oh, what a move by Brazil. They just hopped right over the U.S. Both go down the right side, and we are neck and neck early. That was a huge power move right there by Brazil. But the U.S. staying close, and they're both going to be in the blue funnel at the same time. That's almost a guarantee unless somehow Brazil just knocks their way right through it. And they are. Let's see who gets that advantage and who gets out first. Looks tight. It's going to be Brazil. And the U.S. follows. Both are into the first of the yellow funnels. Brazil circling around that entrance, or I guess in this case, an exit. And they do make their exit from the first to the second funnel, and the U.S. follows. Brazil, you can see, does have the lead right now, and they do have the advantage. The inside track towards that dropout. The U.S. is into the third funnel. Oh, Brazil very close. They're into the fourth funnel now. Gaining a little bit of speed there and gaining a little bit of a lead over the United States, who is into the fourth funnel. And again, this might come down to how well you can maneuver those half pipes. Brazil will encounter the half pipe first. How well do they do? The U.S. still in the funnel. They are... Oh, they're going to make contact. Yes, they will. Oh, the U.S. takes the lead. Brazil is still in the half pipe, and the United States will funnel their way through the S's and into the championship matchup. 1:42 as they knock. It's a bump and run, really. Brazil will finish at 1:50 on the dot, and the United States against England in a revolutionary matchup. But first, it's the third place match between the Netherlands and Brazil. Brazil got bumped at the end, unable to get into the championship matchup, and now they will fall behind the Netherlands early. Still unable to make their way to the red part of the course, and now here they are, but a big lead for the Netherlands, who did all they could to try to make that comeback against England, but ended up finishing, I think that was a 16-second win to get England into the championship against the United States. And now the Netherlands trying to place on the podium. Good comeback here by Brazil, as they are
gaining a little bit of time here, but it's still the Netherlands in the second yellow funnel. Wow, that one took a long time to get through, and I think that's going to be a frustrating run if it comes back to bite the Netherlands. That second yellow funnel was not successful at all. But Brazil could not take advantage. They struggled. They nearly made contact. Down to the final funnel goes the Netherlands, trying to place on the podium. The loser of this matchup falls right back in with the other 13 countries. The Netherlands will make contact first with the half pipes. They are going to make contact with each other, though, and Brazil with a bump and run. But here comes the Netherlands. They're not going to give up easily. It's going to be who falls through that funnel first. The Netherlands is going to need to have it happen first. It does not, and Brazil gets the win by just over 2 seconds. At 1:48, they get third place. And now it is the United States against England, and the U.S. out first. They go to the left side and take the advantage. They're up the conveyor belt. Still in that funnel is England, and they will head up the conveyor belt, but they have 4 pretty well spaced out prongs separating these two marbles. And so the U.S. with a lead early. We are 25 seconds into the championship run, and at 27 seconds even, the U.S. drops to the blue funnel. And by that time, that is about a 7-second lead from when they entered the blue funnel. 27 seconds and 33 seconds for England. The U.S. into the second yellow funnel. And they gained a second from those couple of funnels. They were up by 7 going into the blue. Going into that second yellow, they were up by 8 seconds. The U.S. maintaining a comfortable lead as they are, for the most part, doing a good job of keeping themselves in a separate funnel. They're down to the final funnel now. The half pipes are so important in this race. The U.S. knows that, pulling off a bump and run on Brazil to advance to the championship. They will go to the half pipe first. Can they get out of it? That's the question. England is still in the funnel. They're going to try to make a move that'll win themselves a championship. Here we go. It is going to be England into the right funnel. Here comes the U.S., and it's going to come down to who makes it out of the funnel first. England wins it at 1:42 seconds. And the United States, after an incredible run to beat Brazil at the end of their semifinal matchup, will settle for silver. England wins the trophy. Brazil comes in third. And fittingly enough, the United States, running with an all-silver marble, will own second place in this matchup. So, an impressive run by England. Some heroics, a lot of back and forth. But in the end, it is England in first. The United States comes in second. Third place goes to Brazil. So until next time, I am Ricochet, and you have been watching MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubeca. Hello friends, and welcome back to MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubeca. I am Ricochet here for a very interesting race and tournament that we will have with motorized boats powering our marbles. As you see a mock course on the screen right now, we're going to go through a little bit of a practice run to show you what this is going to be like. You see the starting gates there in the clear. Let them go, and then it is simply a motorized boat that is going to make its way and then hit one of those marbles that will help propel it towards a very large course here, which involves a lot of different loops and turns and funnels, making their way around. And there is a very large finishing portion of this course. A lot of different decisions to be made by those marbles, so obviously we'll try to get to that finish line first. Some of the countries being represented there are the United States and their supporters: Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, Italy, France.
All very familiar with Marble Fubeca. I believe that is Ireland there. Haven't seen them very much. Belgium. A lot of different countries, and of course, as always, they are fighting to make it on the podium. Here are the competitors: Costa Rica, Italy, Russia, and Japan. And then the United States, the Korean Republic, Switzerland, and Portugal. And on the right side of the bracket, India, Spain, Brazil, and Australia. And then France, Argentina, Belgium, and Mexico. So a good mix of old and new, and some of the competitors that we've seen a lot, and some countries we have not necessarily seen a lot. Here's Costa Rica against Italy. Costa Rica is on the left side, Italy is on the right. Let's see which of these boats gets out first. Costa Rica is in the lead, and they are going to hit well ahead of Italy in the dark blue, who very, very softly made contact. And it is Costa Rica in the lead, making their way now through the red portion of this matchup, or up toward the red portion, I should say. Up and around, and they are now on the conveyor belt. And now the long red part of this course, which we have seen some marbles have had a chance to gain some speed and some momentum before they head into the large funnel, or tunnel, I guess I should say, making their way around. And it looks as though Italy is caught up just a tad bit. Lead still belongs to Costa Rica. Around, and now to the final part where you have to make your decision on where you're going to go. It looks like a pretty good run so far by Costa Rica. They are toward the finish, and they finish at a time of 56 seconds to take the win and eliminate Italy, who will finish at 1 minute and 3 seconds. So Costa Rica advances towards the quarterfinal, and we head to the top right of the bracket. It is Mexico against Belgium. Mexico on the left in their classic green and black, and it's Belgium in the yellow and black, and they've got the lead early. A very quick run on the boats, and now around to the relay. And a large lead early on. Let's see if Mexico can slow that down. They do. They pass Belgium in that first funnel. What a run by Mexico. Passing Belgium in the funnel, and they will be one prong ahead as we head on these conveyor belts. Big run by Mexico there at that first funnel to take the lead. And they are first to get down towards the large tunnel. Here they are. They're in, and now they will roll around the long portion of the track, head back towards one more funnel. Let's see if Belgium can teach them a trick. Do it to them as well. They cannot. This time it's Mexico coming in and out with the lead of that funnel. Slowed down just a tad bit. And now Belgium is in some trouble. They're right with each other. Belgium nearly took the lead, but it's Mexico that finishes first. And they beat them by just over, or just under, 0.2 of a second. A very tightly contested matchup with a lot of passes, and it goes the way of Mexico. Next matchup is Portugal against Switzerland. They are pretty even, but Switzerland, in the mostly clear on the right side, is in the lead as they get out first into that first funnel, and it is still Switzerland in the advantage. Long yellow portion of the track now, making their way toward the conveyor belt. They got stuck in a portion where there weren't many prongs, and so that lead evaporated there for Switzerland. They will make their way towards the tunnel first, trying to lengthen the lead. They've got a pretty good sized lead now. Let's see if they can get out of this funnel quickly, or if Portugal can cause problems. It is Switzerland. Mexico had a hard time here, nearly lost their entire lead, and it's going to happen again. Switzerland gets stuck. They get moved by Portugal. They retake the lead and they win it. Portugal thought they were going to overcome them, but Switzerland got stuck on the course and then gets lodged free by Portugal, passes them up, and takes the win. Wow, that is devastating as we get India against Spain now, and Spain with an early lead. Let's see how big of a lead. We're already in that funnel. And here comes India in the white. Very close, and Spain out first. Oh, very nicely done, and it's going to be a one-prong lead that time for Spain. They came in right at the last moment when that prong was about to become unavailable. They are able to widen the lead just a little bit. Pretty good size advantage right now for Spain as they make their way into that big funnel. And now they are in the final funnel. And, oh, India almost made a big pass, but they cannot. And a pretty large lead for Spain right now. They will finish it off and get the win at 56 seconds, fastest time of the day. Finished up at a minute even by India. So Spain moves on. 4 teams into the quarterfinals. We'll get one more between Russia and Japan. It's pretty close right now. Neither really moving too well. Looks like it's Russia in the lead. They will take the lead. Oh, but look at that run. As Japan, with a very quick motion, they are going to pass up Russia, but Russia just passed them right back up. And they are gaining a little bit of momentum there as a long time for Japan to get out of it. And a large lead now. That 3 or 4 prongs separating these two as they make their way on the conveyor belt. Already in the red portion of the track, a large lead for Russia. Making that way towards the second funnel. Moved a little slowly there, but still a large advantage. Let's see what Japan can do to try to offset that. Final portion of the track now for Russia. Here comes Japan, but is it too little too late? The answer is yes, as Russia will finish at a minute 6, and Japan will limp their way through at a minute and 10. Just over 4 seconds off the pace. Russia moves on. And now it is Argentina against France. Some of the prettier marbles in this matchup. And very slowly we get off the starting blocks there. And it is very close, but it is France in the lead, and now Argentina surpasses them. France, though, gets the inside line, and they get out of the funnel first. Just saw that happen with Japan and Russia, and now we see it once again with France and Argentina. Not a huge lead, but still a lead nonetheless for France, getting out of the conveyor belt. Through the tunnel and onto that final funnel, and the lead has grown just a tad bit for France over Argentina. Who gets the inside line, and it will be France out first. Let's see if they can build that lead. Not very much. Here comes Argentina. They've got the lead. France really struggling. They've got to hurry it up. It's going to be too little too late. A comeback win for Argentina as they win it by just under 2 seconds, and Argentina moves on. So not a great run there as the United States now faces off, and they are in a different color than we've seen from them most of the time. They've been a lot of silver and metallic, but they are in white with blue, and a mostly blue for Korea, who is really struggling with this boat portion. And the U.S. has a pretty good size advantage right off the bat just now, making contact with the boat. Is that second marble? Let's see how big the U.S. can make it. Here comes Korea, though. What a comeback in that first funnel, as Korea was way behind in the water portion of this matchup, which involves the boat motorized and making its way towards the relay to connect with their teammate and push them forward, and Korea has done a great job here. They have built a very large lead over the United States. This might be too big to overcome, as they are circling that funnel. Let's see if the United States can pull a fast one on them. The answer is no. Korea will make their way toward the final descent first. That was a struggle for France last time. However, Korea is in trouble. It's going to come down to the end, and at the finish, it's Korea going to come out by just under a tenth of a second. They beat out the United States and move on. They will take on Switzerland, as now we get Australia against Brazil. That was a very close finish. And it is very tight, but it will be Australia in the lead with the dark blue. Lighter blue and a little bit of yellow being represented for Brazil. And we will see how big of a lead can be produced. 3 prongs worth. However you want to measure that. That is the lead right now, and we'll see when you actually get to actual seconds. They were going to hit the funnel at 35, and well, it kind of went out of the camera view, so it's a little bit difficult to tell where they hit it. Somewhere around the 40-second mark on that one, so about a 4-second lead for Australia, and we'll see when they come out of it how big the lead is. But Brazil just overcame them, and Brazil comes down to the finish first. Pass back up by Australia, and now the lead goes back to Brazil, and they are going to finish first. It went back and forth at the... Oh, wait! Did they? Yes, they did. They did make that finish, and Brazil will move on. It was a tight matchup there. Back and forth they went. And we are into the quarterfinal now, and the first matchup is Costa Rica against Russia. And the starting gates moved a little slowly there. Oh, very even. And so Russia being closer towards the funnel, they will get out first, but through the funnel first is Costa Rica. They're still pretty tight. And a close matchup here. Lead belongs to Costa Rica. They're through the tunnel. So is Russia. And now, one of the important aspects here. Who gets out of this funnel first? The answer is Costa Rica. They'll have their first opportunity to make their way down this very decision-heavy portion of the course, and they will finish it off at actually under a minute, 54 seconds. And Russia got stuck. Yep, they're going to get stuck, and they will finish this one off. So Russia's not going to complete the course, and Costa Rica's into the semifinals. So a DNF did not finish for Russia, as they are denied an opportunity. And now we get Mexico against Argentina. Mexico looks like they're in the lead. Pretty tight, though. Let's see who's going to make contact first, and it's almost dead even. We've seen that has been an important part, but at times you've been able to overcome that. We saw that with Korea against the United States. U.S. had a huge lead in the boat portion of the race, and Korea passed them up on that first funnel and ultimately won it in a tight matchup. Argentina in the lead early here, and they are into the tunnel and making their descent toward the final funnel. They've got that advantage. They've got the inside line, but Mexico passed them up. They are going to have their first shot at the finish, and they are making quick work of it early. Let's see if they can continue that. Down to the final decision. Oh, but Argentina passes them up and gets the win. They finish just under a minute, and just over a minute, and out of the race is Mexico. And now it is the Korean Republic against Switzerland. That was a big comeback there. Mexico passed them up, and Argentina comes from behind to pull a fast one on them. This is Korea against Switzerland. Korea is the blue marble. Switzerland in a very clear look, and they're out of the funnel first. Very tight with each other. They both got stuck on a portion where the conveyor belt is mostly empty. And so they're right next to each other. The lead belongs to Switzerland early. Oh, look at Korea. They really picked up some speed, and I think they may have made contact with Switzerland. And Korea's through first. They are really moving right now, and Switzerland might be in a little bit of trouble. They're still not out of the funnel. Now they are, but only one decision to make, and Korea is moving on. As they came towards that final funnel, all of the speed, and it's nearly an 8-second win. All the speed was belonging to Korea, and they not only did they pick up the speed and make contact, but they also surpassed Switzerland rather easily there. Spain against Brazil here. Both of these boats moving pretty quickly and almost dead even. Brazil in the lead right now. However, we've seen a lot of times that left side has been able to get the inside advantage, and that'll happen once again. Spain gets out first, trying to build the advantage. One prong separates the two countries. About one length of the track there. And toward that final funnel, we'll see if Spain can once again get out first. The answer is yes, they've still got the lead on Brazil. And now it is their race to lose. Here comes Brazil. Will it be too little too late? It is. Spain leads from start to finish, basically, and will advance to the semifinals with a finishing time of 1 minute and 2 seconds. And we have our semifinal now. The matchup first is Costa Rica against Korea. As we make our way on the boats, hopefully both these countries hoping that they will have one more time with the boats. Wow, you've got a lot of speed from Korea as they once again made contact with the other marble, making their way toward a funnel. They get out first, and they've built a little bit of a lead here against Costa Rica. The Korean Republic looks very strong right now. A lot of confidence after they took out the United States with a back and forth win. A comeback win last time against Switzerland. And now they have the lead pretty early against Costa Rica. In a different spot this time. Can they hold on to it? They're in the funnel, as is Costa Rica now. It is Korea out first toward the finishing platform. Ooh, pretty tight here. Last decision, and it's a pass at the final moment. Costa Rica will win it, and they are going to the finals. And they'll face either Argentina or Spain. Big comeback there. Opening gates rise. And right now the lead looks like it belongs to Argentina. Oh, almost dead even there. Watch it again. Let's see if Argentina gets out first. They were on the left side. Have to wonder what it is that causes them to typically get out first, but this time it's Spain. What in the funnel first comes out first, but they are very tight. They were basically right on each other before they make it to the conveyor belt. And let's see if Argentina can pick up some ground here. They do. Again, it's tight. Argentina is pushing Spain to the funnel. And now, do they get out first? If they do, they've got the advantage. If they don't, you still have to give Spain the advantage. They do. Argentina makes the pass in the funnel. Now they're making their way down that final portion of this course. Here comes Spain. They are tight. It is Spain that's going to make the pass and get the win. And Spain is into the final against Costa Rica. But first we'll get the third place matchup, which is between Korea and Argentina. I honestly thought the Korean Republic had a good chance to win this tournament, especially with how well they started running in the middle of this portion, but they got overtaken by Costa Rica at the end of this matchup. And now it looks like Argentina is going to get out first. Yep, they do have the lead, and they do get to the funnel first. And Argentina in the lead. Trying to grow that lead for the light blue and white marble. A little bit of silver mixed in there as well. The all blue of the Korean Republic. And they are trying to take the lead. However, Argentina did a great job of blocking that. And now they're going to try to quickly make it through. And this is going to be one of the bigger wins. Argentina secures third place and a spot on the podium as they take out Korea in dominant fashion, and they beat them by almost 8 seconds. That was the second largest win at 7.97 seconds, second largest of this tournament. And now we get to the final matchup of the day. This is the championship for the gold, and then subsequently the silver. Early lead belongs to Costa Rica. They are through the water portion for the final time. Lead belongs to Costa Rica. They're into the funnel first. Spain has gotten through the funnel first each of the last 2 times. That has been huge for them. This time, they will play catch-up, but it is a tight matchup, and they are coming right now for Costa Rica. Look how close they are. They ran into each other waiting for the conveyor belt, and they ended up in a spot of the course, or the spot of the conveyor belt, where it's very, very tight. It looks as though Spain has a little bit of more speed right now. They are trying to catch up very close with Costa Rica. Who gets out of this funnel first? That may determine the champion. It's Costa Rica. How big of a lead do they have? How much of a cushion do they have to get through this final portion? Not very much. However, they're down to the final spot. Costa Rica is going to be passed up. It's going to come down to the finish. Costa Rica gets it by 0.03 of a second. Costa Rica wins it. And you have to look at the slow-mo replay as just a hair too late for Spain. They earned the silver, but Costa Rica gets gold. What a finish, as you will crown the very deserving champion of Costa Rica. Argentina earns third. Spain, with a valiant effort, they get second, but Costa Rica with an incredible run at the end and a photo finish if you've ever seen one. They win the gold. They take home the trophy. An incredible matchup and a great finish to this tournament. And so for Marble Fubeca and for MSPN, I'm Rick O'Shea, and thanks for watching. Hello and welcome back to MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubeca. I am Rick O'Shea here for Marble UFC. As you see our octagon, the setting for today's matchup in what is a very daunting course. And the octagon that will present many challenges for these countries. Again, tournament style, as you see the MUFC octagon, which features 5 different spots there that are notated on the screen that will result in knockouts. And if you are going to be knocked out, that means that you will lose your opportunity as a marble representing these countries here, as you see some of those countries on the screen. One go for both of these teams that will face off against each other. And whoever has the most marbles standing at the end of that turn will advance and have an opportunity to move further and further into this tournament. As always, the goal of these tournaments is to win the trophy and earn the gold. A podium finish is obviously huge for these countries as well. As you see the team statistics for the MUFC, and there's the countries being represented. The Netherlands, Turkey, Brazil, and Russia in one quadrant. Vietnam makes an appearance, along with Mexico, Canada, and India. And on the right side, it's Spain, Indonesia, the United States, and Peru. And the top right quadrant is France, Argentina, Portugal, and England. And there is the trophy to be awarded. Our first matchup will be the Netherlands against Turkey. Turkey being represented with the orange, almost red-looking marbles. Mostly white for the Netherlands. They make their way through the course, and then they will collide. A lot of collisions going back and forth, and it is a knockout for the Netherlands. They lose one of their marbles, and we'll have a look on the replay. That will eliminate the Netherlands. And so Turkey moves on. Look at this replay. A ton of collisions, and right here, everybody gets pretty close, and it ends up being the Netherlands that drops into that one knockout spot. So tight match, but Turkey wins it. And we'll go to the top right, and it'll be England versus Portugal. England with blue and white, Portugal in the green. And they make their way through, and no knockouts yet. Now a knockout for England. And they knock out a couple. 2 drop for the English, and they will be eliminated by Portugal. That one lasted a pretty long time there. On the right side, you see knockout number 1, and right behind it, knockout number 2. So England held on for as long as they could, but they are eliminated in the first round. Portugal moves on. And we now get Canada against India. These are similar looking marbles. The more white-based marbles belong to India, and the clear marbles belonging to Canada. Into the octagon they go. There's a knockout. Let's see if we get another. We don't, but it didn't matter because those were both Canadian marbles anyway. And so India is going to advance. And what we've seen, that bottom right knockout spot has been popular so far. Just missed it. Did one of the Indian marbles on the middle in the bottom screen. And they move on to play for the quarterfinal. And now it is Indonesia against Spain. This is the bottom right side. Indonesia in the plain white. Yellow and red. For Spain, into the octagon they go. And Spain has a knockout, as does Indonesia. And a second one drops for Indonesia. They had the lead for a moment, but dropped one in the middle. And again, that bottom right knockout spot costs them. And Indonesia will go down. As you look at the replay, right there is one for Spain, and then in a matter of just moments, things went from looking good to very downhill for Indonesia as they dropped one in the middle and in the bottom right to lose this match. So Spain will move on. As you see their supporting section. And they are into the quarterfinal, and now we get Brazil against Russia. Each quadrant has one representative in the quarterfinals. Russia and Brazil, the winner, will move on to the quarterfinals. Russia in the dark red, Brazil with yellow and blue. And they are through, making their way down. You want to avoid being knocked out. There's 2 knockouts, and that's all we're going to get. They're going to be both knocked out for Russia. Brazil holds on with all of their marbles. Russia loses 2. They are eliminated. And looking at the replay, pretty dominant win. There is one. Nice assist by Brazil. Knocked one in. And so Brazil will move on to face Turkey in the quarterfinals. We head to France against Argentina. France with the brighter blue color, the light blue, silver and white of Argentina. In they go. Couple of knockouts, and now a third, and that will cost France, as France and Argentina both had an early knockout. There's the one for Argentina, there's the first for France, and right there, bottom right, once again, costs one of the countries, as France drops their second. They're eliminated, and Argentina will get to face Portugal in the quarterfinal. Now it is Vietnam against Mexico. And they are the Vietnamese. And the Mexicans. Vietnam making an appearance on this channel for the first time in a while. And they are in some trouble. Oh, no, they're going to come through. It looked like the one marble for Vietnam on the bottom right was going to drop, but instead it's Mexico on the bottom left. Look at the replay. There's one for both. And then on the right side, it looked like Vietnam was going to drop a second. Meanwhile, the second Mexican marble fell on in, and Vietnam advances to take on India. And the final matchup of the first round is Peru against the United States. The USA in the silver metallic-looking marbles, and mostly white for Peru. Let's see who makes it through and clinches the last spot in the quarterfinal. It will be the United States as they keep all four, and an assist, as you'll look at the replay, will show that the U.S. right here made sure that there was no chance for them to lose. Even if that one stray marble for the U.S. went in, an assist by the United States advances them into the quarterfinals. So second round matchups now. It's Turkey on the left side and Brazil on the right. Turkey won the first matchup of this UFC fighting, and they will go home. Wow, that was tight. But ultimately, right here, one was going to have to go in. It was just a matter of which one. And fighting tooth and nail, Brazil just pushes Turkey into the knockout spot, and they knock them out of this tournament. And moving on into the semifinals, it'll be Portugal against Argentina now. That was a huge move by Brazil to get into the semis. And we'll see who makes the big move here. Portugal and Argentina in the MUFC. There is one for Argentina, two for Argentina, and all stay standing for Portugal. Very fast pace. And again at the end, it looked like Portugal might drop one, but that still would not have been enough. So Portugal is into the semifinals. They will face either Spain or the United States, but first it's India against Vietnam. Vietnam just survived in their first round matchup. As you saw, the Indian supporters. And away they go. Spot in the semis on the line. Faces Brazil. One goes in for Vietnam, and that will be the only one to go. And India is into the semifinals. Right there, India had one hit off that middle, and then they were headed for the bottom right, but it was Vietnam that fell first, and so India survives and advances to the semis. And now the last semifinal participant will be determined between the United States and Spain. The U.S. bullied their way into the second round. Now taking on Spain. Match coming. Into the octagon they go. The U.S. has one fall. Spain has two fall. And that's it. The United States is into the semifinals. Again, the team to fall first, have their first knockout, once again ends up being the one to win. Oh, so close. It looked like it was going to stay in the octagon, but Spain has their second fall into the knockout, and we are going to the semifinals with the United States as the final participant. But first, back to the left side of the bracket, and it is Brazil against India. Brazil just took out Turkey. India disposing of Vietnam. Very close. India has one. Brazil has one. India has their second fall, and they are eliminated. On the left side, very quietly, Brazil had their first fall in. Almost two more falling in. That was pretty tight there. At almost a third fell for India, but eventually, very slowly making their way into the knockout hole. And so Brazil is in the final. India will play for third, and they will face either Portugal or the U.S. The loser goes to the third place match. The winner goes to the championship. We just saw the United States in a championship game where they lost to England. England eliminated in the first round of this matchup. Now they have Portugal in the semi. U.S. has two in. Portugal is going to keep all of them on the board, and the United States is eliminated, and Portugal is going to the championship. Wow, look how close they are there to one of the knockout holes, although it wouldn't have mattered anyway, as the United States has 2 knockouts, and Portugal would have only had 1 even if that had gone in. So the U.S. is eliminated. They will play for 3rd place. Portugal and Brazil will be in the championship matchup. But first we get that 3rd place match between the United States and India. And they are off, playing for a spot on the podium. Into the octagon they go. The U.S. has 1, India has 1, they both have 2, and the United States picks up their 3rd, and all of the knockout spots are filled, and India gets 3rd. That is the first time we've seen that. They both fell in at the same time, and there goes number 3 for the United States, right before number 2 fell for India. So India takes 3rd, they'll place on the podium. And now we come down to the championship matchup between Brazil and Portugal. 16 countries entered the octagon. Only 1 will survive and be turned into a champion and climb the podium for the 1st place prize. Here we go. Into the octagon they go. And 2 for Portugal. It's a clean sweep. Brazil holds on to all their marbles, and they win it to take home the MUFC title. Dominant performance in the championship. Nobody really got particularly close. And as we watch our champions and placers, 1st and 2nd runner-ups, being crowned, 3rd place goes to India, 2nd place goes to Portugal, but the queen of the ball is Brazil as they take home the trophy. They place in 1st as they win MUFC with a dominant performance in the championship matchup. They took out some heavyweights, and in the end, they take out Portugal to win it. So for MSPN and Marble Fubeca, I'm Ricochet, and thanks for watching. Hello everyone and welcome back to MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubeca. I am Ricochet as we welcome you to the Marble Race Tic-Tac-Toe. Very original and unique concept as you have a look at our course. Our different countries and the marbles representing those countries will make their way down the winding track and then attempt to score in one of our tic-tac-toe spots as you see on the board. Obviously no X's and O's, just marbles in this matchup. But they will attempt to score in the style of tic-tac-toe. Have an opportunity to advance. This is again tournament style as you see some of the cheering squads. There is Brazil. France is right there in the middle of things. Very interesting and unique concept. It's a board that we've seen as you have a look at the 2019 team statistics with Russia, Brazil, and England right now in podium spots. As you can see, it's a board that we've seen used for targets, for target scoring, for bullseyes, and things like that. As you see the teams that are facing off, France, Turkey, Indonesia, and Russia, and then Vietnam, Brazil, England, and Spain. On the left side of the bracket, the right side is Mexico. The United Kingdom as a whole will be represented here. The United States and Malaysia, and then Canada, Portugal, India, and the Philippines. So some countries that we have seen a lot of times, such as France, who will face off here in this first matchup, and some that we haven't seen quite so much. They are going to get 5 marbles and an opportunity to score, and let's see if anybody can get it. They can. Turkey scores a tic-tac-toe as they go across from where you're viewing it on the right side of your screen, top to bottom. Oh, wow, look at that. On the replay, you just see Turkey just forced that one out. That's impressive right there. As Turkey forced it out of the way, they will get the win because France had the positioning in that bottom right corner, but they could not come up with it. Turkey moves on. That's impressive, as it's the Philippines now against India. Philippines in the blue, India is in the white, and they head for the board, and again, on the right side, it is 3 across, top to bottom in the right corner. And India will move on. The effort was there from the Philippines, but they are unable to score, as again, just forcing the other team out. That appears as though it might be, and it almost worked right there, that appears as though it might be something that's going to become very interesting to watch. So the Philippines go home, India moves on. And again, this 16-team field. And it'll be Spain against England here, so you have the United Kingdom and you have England both being represented. Spain in the yellow, and England is in the white and blue, and it is England that's going to get it all the way atop the cross. Across the top, as they actually did it 2 ways. They do it from left to right along the top, and they do it in the diagonal way as well, from the top left to the bottom right. So 2 for England, none for Spain, so they will definitely get that win. They're the first country to score 2, and now it is the United Kingdom who will take on Mexico. They are in the red. Mexico back to their typical green and black, and let's see if anybody can get it. Yes, they can. That is the United Kingdom. They will score, and they will move on. It's fascinating to watch these replays and watch the jostling for positions. Right there, they just cannot get in, and it's the UK that's able to take advantage and force their way into those spots. You see 2 of the Mexican marbles that are up towards the front as you watch the cheering section for the UK. They move on. They take out Mexico, that has been a heavyweight in these tournaments, as we get Russia against Indonesia. Russia is in the red with white. It looks like it's just plain white for Indonesia, and it is going to be along the right side for Indonesia. They're going to move on, and putting themselves in the center spot right there forces Russia to have to try to force one of the Indonesian marbles out right here. They got there first, and that's before they even got their own 3 across. Great effort from Indonesia to block Russia before even scoring their own. They move on. And now it's Canada against Portugal. Really good effort there, as this is Canada in the... Wow, look at that. And it falls in. Canada with the 3 on the bottom, and they go 3 diagonally from the top right to the bottom left. They score 2. And all bunched up at the bottom of the back of this area, which is on the right side of your screen, was Portugal. They only got 1 to actually land in a spot. Canada moves on. Good effort by them. Strong attempt by Portugal, but they cannot come through with any kind of results. Now Vietnam and Brazil. Brazil is more blue than yellow, and Vietnam, with some red in there, is more yellow than blue. Let's see who comes up with it. Brazil's got 1, and that's all they're going to need. Top to bottom along the right side, they will move on. And one of the... Was that Brazil, or was that Vietnam? Somebody didn't land on the board. That was, yeah, all the way back towards the launching post was Vietnam with 1 of their marbles, as Brazil moves on. They'll face England. And last spot up for grabs, it is Malaysia and the United States of America. Here's the USA with their silver marbles, and Malaysia is going with the yellow and black. Let's see what happens here. And Malaysia and the United States at the last moment. It's the U.S. that picks it up vertically from top left to bottom right. And the last marble to fall in a spot was that top left for the U.S. As Malaysia right there, unable to block, and just falling in at the last moment, and able to secure an advancement for the United States. So USA moving on to take on the UK. But first it is Indonesia and Turkey. In the bottom left, only one will survive to the semis. Turkey with the red and black. A very elegant look for Indonesia. Let's see who comes away with the win, though. It is going to be Turkey, as they'll take it across the middle, top to bottom. An effort there, a couple of twos for Indonesia, but they could not find a third. And so Turkey is into the semifinals. They took out France in the first round, and they pushed them around there. And at the end of the day, that one marble that got stuck at the back of the board there ends up costing them. Canada against India now. Canada with the clear, India with white with a few different colors involved there. Canada is going to go across the middle, left to right, down the middle, and 3 of those marbles for India, or I'm sorry, for Canada, I should say. India goes down the middle. They win it, as Canada got stuck in the back of the board. Boxed them out. Well done. Look at how much they controlled there. All 5 of their marbles landed in spots, as they are able to advance. And now it's England against Brazil. Should be very interesting if we happen to get something where both of the countries get 1 score. What would happen in that case? Here we go. Brazil has the first shot at it, and it is from top left to bottom right. Brazil moves on. We saw the few of the England marbles lagging behind, and so Brazil had a better chance early. And there was one last one at the end. And so Brazil gets it diagonally. They're into the semifinals. And once again, the United States takes center stage at the end to take on the UK. There is the USA right at the starting gates. The United States in silver, red representing the UK. Down first, the UK trying to finish it off. They do. They go down the middle from top to bottom, and the UK knocks off the USA. How about that? Good effort. And a pretty dominant showing there. The United States only got 1 of their marbles to stick in one of the spots. Got a few stuck in between, and the UK is going to the semifinals. Now it is Brazil against Turkey. Winner goes to the championship, and the loser drops to the third place matchup, trying to get on the podium. That's not guaranteed yet. Let's see. It is diagonally top right, bottom left. Brazil moves on. Well executed again. And right there, even knocked in another one for good measure. 4 Brazilian marbles find their way into a tic-tac-toe spot. They're in the championship. Will they face India on the right side, or will they face the United Kingdom on the left? UK gets down first. And are they going to give it to them? Yeah, the UK is in that bottom right spot. They get it. It was close, but the United Kingdom from top to bottom on the right side of the board, they will win it. And they are going to take on Brazil for the championship. So India is relegated to the third place matchup. And the UK being represented here and taking their talents all the way to the championship. But first, for a spot on the podium, it's the third place matchup between India and Turkey. And they make their way down. India first, then Turkey. India has 1, and that's all they'll need. Across the bottom of the board, left to right. And they will take third place and earn themselves a spot on the podium. Good effort by Turkey, but they'll fall a little bit short, as they are unable to get onto the podium, losing in the third place matchup. And now it comes down to this: Brazil and the United Kingdom. There's the UK's cheering group. the representatives for Brazil. The gates are up and we are off. One chance. Who gets tic-tac-toe? Both get tic-tac-toe. The UK goes down the middle. Brazil goes to the right. They're tied. And what happens now? Wow, look at that. All over the place. And the UK, not for trying, they almost took away one for Brazil. We go again. Try number 2. Who takes it this time? Brazil down the middle. That's all they need. From left to right, right down the middle of the board, and Brazil wins it. In overtime. After a tie, an impressive showing, and Brazil with the resiliency to come back and right there win it for their country as they get the win. Congratulations to India. They are given 3rd place, making their way on the podium. A pretty good showing. First time I have ever had the privilege to witness the United Kingdom, and they did very well, finishing in 2nd. But today belongs to Brazil in extra time. It took them a little bit longer, but they are able to get it done over the UK. Great effort from both countries, and a great effort from all of our countries for this tournament. But until next time, thanks for watching MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubeca. I'm Ricochet. Ricochet back here for MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubeca. Glad to be with you as you have a look at the 2019 team statistics for our countries. On the left side of your screen, this is bowling coming up for these teams. As you see, a course that we've used a few times. For these countries that will attempt to score the most points in a couple of frames of bowling to advance and move on with a chance for a championship. Here are the teams competing: France, Spain, Chile, and the United States. In the bottom left quadrant, in the top left, it is Japan, Argentina, Ecuador, and Ghana. England, Colombia, Brazil, and the Netherlands in the bottom right quadrant, and the final quadrant, the top right of the tournament, is Uruguay, Portugal, Costa Rica, and Mexico. A large group of onlookers will first watch this matchup between France and Spain. France gets the first look, and they will make their way down the winding course. Encounter one half pipe, and now a decision on which way to go. Down the left, or the, I guess the top of the screen is the blue slide. The bottom of the screen is the green slide, and they went down the green and picked up only one. You see at the end there, they tried to pull it around and pick up an extra pin there. That didn't work, and so France picks up only one. It's one full frame and 2 turns for France, so 2 opportunities to score. And they need a big second run if they're going to beat Spain, who early on doesn't look like they have to do too much. Blue or green is the decision, and it'll be blue this time, and it's going to be 3 more pins knocked down for France. As they put up a little bit more respectable of a number, they end up with 4, and that is the number to beat for Spain. In this 16-team tournament, something that we're very used to here on Marble Fubeca. Seen a lot of 16-team fields for these tournament-style competitions, and Spain picks up only 1 pin on their first go. So sitting here as Spain gets their second turn, and it is a very even matchup. 1 pin for France on their first go, 1 pin for Spain on their first go, and now it's going to come down to the final matchup, as Spain will make their way down one of the slides and head for the pins. If they can knock down 3, it's a tie. If they can knock down more than 3, they'll advance. Less than 3 gives the win to Spain, or to France. Here we go, and it's just 1 pin for Spain. Very disappointing for the Spaniards as they pick up only 1. And France moves on with a 4-2 overall score. And so from the bottom left to the top right, it is Mexico against Costa Rica, and that is Costa Rica who will go first. Red and black marble will choose green and pick up only 1. They head out right off the course after knocking down that first pin. And that has been a very common score so far. All 3 teams that have gone have scored just 1 on their first bowl. And out of the 5 now turns, 3 of them have been 1 pin. Very interesting. Definitely not ideal, as that's the lowest amount you can score if you score at all. Down the green again, and 2 more this time. It's a total of 3 for Costa Rica. Almost got a third, but it's able to hold on. And so Mexico will go, needing 4 for a win. 4 was enough to win it for France in the previous matchup. And their first go will be down the green and result in 3. Big run on Mexico for their first bowl. They pick up 3 pins, and they've already notched what'll be a sudden death matchup. And that's before they even have their second turn. So 1 will do it. Mexico can make a statement with a large score here. Down the blue, they knock down 4 more, and it's a score of 7 for Mexico. They move on easily. An impressive round for Mexico as they beat Costa Rica, and they move on to the quarterfinals. It's now Ghana against Ecuador, and Ecuador will go first. Ghana's a newcomer, haven't seen them very much. A lot of these countries have been a very common participant. Down the blue very quickly, and 6 for Ecuador. What a bowl there! Right through the heart of the pins, and a 6 spot for Ecuador gives them a huge advantage very early on against Ghana. Wow. That is a very impressive run by Ecuador. Let's see if they can finish them off and give Ghana almost no chance to win. Down the blue, they pick up an extra 1 and will score 7. And it's turned over to Ghana. They'd have to have a heck of a run. They'd have to score more than anybody else if they want to beat Ecuador. No one scored more than 7. That was Mexico and now Ecuador, both scoring 7. Ghana's first turn will pick up 6. How about that? What an answer for Ghana. They pick up 6. They did it on the opposite side, going after the pins that were towards the bottom of your screen the way that we're viewing it. But either way, that results in the same amount of points. If they get 1, we tie. If they get 2, they win. A 0 will give the win to Ecuador. Either way, it's going to be disappointing to see one of these teams go home. They both showed up very well. Down the blue, they score 3! Almost knocked them all down, but it's a 9. And Ghana, with a very impressive run, they beat Ecuador and they move on. Very impressive from both teams in that matchup. Wow. As England will take on Colombia now. That's a tough act to follow. England making their way to the half pipe. Decisions looming. Blue or green. As you can see, through early on, both sides can result in high scores or low scores. That's a 3 for England. And a respectable first score. England will make their way down for the second time. Bowling such a difficult sport because one wrong movement doesn't even matter which way you go if you just come off at a wrong angle, as there's 2 more for England and they'll pick up 5 as their final score. Respectable. And Colombia will have to knock down more than half the pins if they want to take out England. Out of a group of 10 pins, 5 went down at the hands of the English. There is 4 for Colombia. Almost knocked down 2 more. A powerful throw, and Colombia in a good position. They need 1 to tie, 2 to win. What I was saying at the beginning of this matchup is that there's, on either side, you can see one wrong move, whether it's going down the blue or going down the green. If you come at it with the bad angle, or one wrong move, that's a strike. It's a spare, as Colombia scored 4 on their first. They knocked down the remaining 6. They score the first spare of the tournament, and they beat England. Well, we were trying to say that mistakes can be made, and it can cost you. There was no costing them there as they score the first spare. Colombia beats England, and now Chile takes on the United States, who has been a heavyweight in these standalone challenges. And England, who has also been a pretty strong competitor, taken down early in this tournament. First round knockout loss. That is 4 for Chile. Good first score. And nearly knocked down a 5th, but could not. Problem, that is 2 more. Ran into another, but couldn't knock it down, and it's a total of 6 for Chile. And the U.S. will need to beat 6. That's a pretty good score. And we'll see what the United States can do to answer. So Chile put themselves in a good position. The United States trying to answer. Or will we see the U.S. and England go down in back-to-back matchups? It's a 3 on the first go for the U.S. And they are in a little bit of trouble here. Gonna have to be a good run here if the U.S. wants to tie or defeat Chile. And very slowly making their way. It's going to be green. It's going to be an empty run for the U.S. And they go down. Chile moves on. And it indeed is back-to-back losses for England and the United States. Yeah, that hurts. As Uruguay stands in facing Portugal. Uruguay goes first. And their first throw will eventually make its way down toward the board. Here it comes, and there it goes. It's going to be 3. Uruguay knocked down the 3 over in that one corner of the bracket there. And they will try to better that score. And make it a little harder on Portugal. Down the green, they knock the rest of them down. It's a spare for Uruguay. Second of the tournament. Colombia had the first, and Uruguay answers, and that's going to make it extremely difficult for Portugal to move on. They're going to have a hard time with this one. Let's see what they can do. You really need to pick up something. They go blue and they get just 1. And now it's going to be a really tough one for Portugal. They have to knock down all 9 to even Uruguay. Otherwise, deservedly so, Uruguay will win, and they do. 5 pins go down for Portugal. Pretty good run there, but it was not enough, and too late anyway, as Uruguay gets the spare. They get the win. And it's Japan versus Argentina. Japan in a very slick and sleek look with their marble as they make their way to the half pipe for the first time. Mostly white, very shiny for this marble. We always love to see the Argentinian marbles, and that's just 1 for Japan. Second go for Japan as they will try to add on to just that one. Scored from the first time. Try to perform a little bit better and see if they can make this a little harder on Argentina to score. Love that different angle. They went right down the middle and knocked down 3, including the 1 pin. They score 4 overall, and now Argentina knows what they have to do. They need 5 to take out Japan. As they make their way down down the course the first time. You can see it is 6. Very impressive for Argentina. They get the win, and they will take one more, a victory try this time for Argentina, as they are advanced into the next round automatically after that first one. Scored 6 after Japan took 2 turns to score only 4 points. Argentina made it look easy there. And they will pick up 3 more. They score 9 overall. Nearly knocked it down for our third spare. Argentina is moving on. And now it's the Netherlands against Brazil. Brazil goes first, and their classic yellow and blue look. The Netherlands has gained a reputation for winning very close matchups. That's 5 for Brazil on the first run. Have to be a good run for the Netherlands if they want to beat Brazil here, who still has 1 more to go. 5 down, 1 turn left, and maybe 5 more pins to go for Brazil as they would look for a spare. Just looking to add on some more points and make it a little more difficult on the Netherlands here. They go blue this time and knock down 4 for a score of 9, and it will have to be very impressive for the Netherlands. And they're dark red, making their way down the course. We've seen them in many different colors of marbles, including orange, but they've gone with dark red and black here. And they need a big run. They'd have to knock down all of the pins if they want to get the win. They knocked down 3 on their first turn, and they'll have to come up with a big one here. Last try for the Netherlands. I think this is our last matchup of the first round. Might have a couple more. I think they probably want to try to go blue here. They do go blue, and they knock down 3, but that's all they're going to get. They needed to knock down 6 at least. They only get 3, and they are knocked out by a score of 9-6. Brazil moves on. And now our quarterfinals begin with France against Chile. Both of these countries being represented in red, white, and blue. It's France who goes first. And Chile knocked out the United States, of course. Their national colors of red, white, and blue as well. France's first run is going to knock down only 1 pin, which is exactly what they did in their first matchup. They ended up being able to win, but France only knocked down 1 pin the first time, only knocked down 4 total and got the win. That would not be good enough in a lot of the first round matchups, as the teams later on in the first round seem to have a little bit more success than early. 1 pin down, that went down the blue for France. Let's see if they try green this time. As they look to add on to their score, they go blue again, and they hit the side and score only 1. Wow. So an empty run that time for France. As Chile will potentially wrap it up here. All they have to do is score 2 and they'll have it finished off. And they just went empty. They can't score on their first try. So now it comes down to the final matchup. One last turn. If it's a 0, France wins. If it's a 1, it's a tie. If it's a 2 or more, then Chile wins. Down the green, here they go. They're going to knock down 4 and move their way into the semifinals. It didn't look pretty, but ultimately, that's enough to move on. Chile is into the semifinals. And now we get Mexico against Uruguay. Uruguay will go first. They had one of a few spares in the opening round. We have not seen a strike yet. That's going to be a really difficult ask to get one of these teams to bowl a strike. Down the blue, and 1 pin. Low scoring start to this quarterfinal. 4 matchups. And we were already done with 1, and we saw only 5 total points, and through the first bowl of this second matchup, only 1 point scored. Blue or green is the question. Answer is going to be green, and it's going to pay off. 6 more for Uruguay. They score 7 and have put the pressure on Mexico. Classic green and black. Winding down the snaking course here before we get to the bowling alley portion of the course. Into the half pipe. And down the green, and they will pick up 3. Did a good job, picked up nearly half of the score. And now Mexico in crunch time. Winner to the semis, and the loser goes home with no chance for the podium. Blue this time, and they got 5, and they get the win. Mexico comes up big. Pressure was put on by Uruguay, and Mexico answered. They move on 8-7 the final. They're going to the semis as Argentina and Ghana will face off for a spot in the semifinals as well. It's Argentina to go first. And that is 8 for Argentina. Whoa, almost got that strike that we were talking about, very elusive. And nearly picked it up. Argentina putting on a show early, and all of a sudden, these teams are revving up the engines. Trying to put the hammer down on their opponents and try to lock their way into the next round. In this case, it would be the semifinals. That's going to be a miss for Argentina. Tried to go around to the left side and did, but could not make contact. So they finished with 8, and now it is Ghana, who had a pretty high number to go against in their first round. Pulled it off. Now they need to score 9 or 10 if they want to beat Argentina, who picked up 8. And then an empty run on their second. Down the blue, and 3 picked up for Ghana. So immediately they are thrown into the fire. They need 5 if they want to tie. They need 6 to get the win. Making their way down the course. Been pretty impressed with what we've seen from Ghana in this competition. Let's see if they've got anything else left in the bag here. Try to get it to the semifinals. Argentina watches on. Ghana goes down the green and or the blue, and they didn't make contact with anything. They missed the entire structure. And so Argentina moves on. They fill the 3rd semifinal spot, and now it's Colombia against Brazil. Colombia was the first team to get a spare. And we will see what they do here in this second round matchup with Brazil. Go down the green and missed it all. And if they want to get a spare, they're going to have to knock them all down. We've seen some high scores here in this quarterfinal round, but we've also seen some clean misses. Each of the last two teams have a clean miss, and now a third team in a row, if you include Colombia, who missed everything on their first run. They will hope that they don't repeat history there. Down the blue this time, and they knock down 3. That'll be their score, 3 for Colombia. And now Brazil, who could finish it off before they even get to their second throw, if they can knock down 4 or more. Which is a very doable thing, I would say. Seen that happen a few times. Brazil choosing which way. They'll go down green or down blue, and they knock down none. They moved that bottom pin, as you see there, but it stayed on. And so they'll reset. And now Brazil, after an empty run, will have to have some work to do if they want to move on. That was a very uninspiring run for Brazil. Last 4 have all had an empty run. Last 4 teams, that is. And they knock down 4, and Brazil survives at the very end there to move on to the semifinals by a score of 4-3. Boy, that was close. They face Mexico, but first it's Chile against Argentina. Here is Chile. They'll make their way down, and they'll go blue, and did not even make it to where the pins are. Got stuck in the corner and never even entered the pin area. That is a very disappointing run. That's 5 teams in a row that have had an empty set, and now Chile will have to see what they can get here. We're going to hope for something. So blue didn't work very well for them. Couldn't even get near the pins. Green is going to knock down only 1. And Argentina has nearly had it handed to them, as they will go for their first time. And you would hope, if you're Argentina, you can finish this one out before you even have to take that second bowl. However, we've seen quite a few issues with these teams recently. 5 in a row have gone empty-handed on one of their turns, and each of the last 3 teams have all been unable to score on their first run. That changes right here. It's 7 for Argentina. They scored an 8 in their quarterfinal matchup, and they just sent a message, as they will have a victory run. They are on to the final, and Chile is relegated to a 3rd place matchup. So Argentina, who was a part of that issue with having empty hands, that was after they scored 8, though. That's not the problem here. They knocked down 2 more. It's a 9 for Argentina, and they win it 9-1. A statement heading to the finals for Argentina. And they just sent shivers down the spine of their potential opponents, Mexico and Brazil, who first have to deal with each other, and then the winner is given the pleasure of having to face the juggernaut that has been so far Argentina. Brazil goes first. Loser gets Chile. Winner gets a shot at the title against Argentina. Brazil will go green and knock down 4. Or 3, I should say. That's a good run. Almost knocked down that 4th, but it slid into another pin and held its stance upright. Now a chance to add on and make this a little more difficult. They'll go blue this time and knock down just 1 more. So 4 total is the score for Brazil, as their marble nearly left the arena with the high spin rate on that one. Knocking down 1 and setting up us up in a situation where Mexico, if they can knock down half of the pins over the next 2 turns, are going to move on to the finale. They'll go blue and got denied by the side of the course. They get nothing, and now they'll have to score 5 pins here on this throw if they want to beat Brazil outright. That was a devastating run for Mexico. First one wasn't too kind when they went blue. Let's see where they go this time. They'll go green, try it again, right down the middle, and they pick up 7 and advance to the finals. A clutch move by Mexico to win it. They face Argentina, but first we go to the third place matchup, and it's Chile against Brazil. Chile's out of the gates first, and they will make their way down. 2 tries here. As always, a disappointing semifinal matchup for Chile. They scored only 1 in the entirety. Ooh, almost got entirely stuck. And a very good start. It's 6 for Chile. And you know they have to be thinking, where was that after their first run? That ended with just 1 pin down after 2 tries. Let's see if they can add on here. Go down the green and knock down 2 more. They'll score 8 total. Good run from Chile, and they have put the pressure on Brazil. And the Brazilians will have to come up with a very impressive run if they want to claim a 3rd place finish and get on the podium. They'll go green and knock down 5 on their first run. That was pretty good. And they're in a spot where if you go blue, you can have a very good opportunity here if you're Brazil to come out and beat Chile, which was a good run for them. They did a good job of forcing a tough situation there. But if you can get this one to go down the blue slide, you've got a real opportunity. It does go down the blue, but they only knock down 1. They'll finish with a total of 6, but Chile gets 3rd place. And now all the eyes are going to turn to the starting gate. It is Argentina and Mexico, and the Argentines out first. They have scored 8 and 7 on a couple of their respective runs, just on their own, on one single bowl. They've combined for 15. And they just missed everything there. A clean miss, Argentina. Oh boy, that was a very big disappointment for the Argentines. And now, you got to get everything you can muster. Good thing is Argentina has shown that they can score high numbers in one turn, and they just did. They pick up 7. Argentina trying to bail themselves out after a very unimpressive run. There's the last one going down and helping out the cause. Now it is Mexico. Eight will win it. And you have 2 tries to do it. Not an easy task by any means. Down the blue they go first time. They pick up 3. And it'll come down to the final matchup. This one is for a championship, as Mexico makes their way down for the final time, encountering the half pipe. Here they are. Blue or green. Mexico with green in their flag colors, green on their marbles. Is that where they go to try to win the championship? The answer is no. They go blue, and they did not make contact at first. They just tapped a pin at the very end, and that's the way it ends. Argentina with a big run on their final throw. They earn the title. 3rd place to Chile. 2nd place to Mexico. But Argentina gets the win. They take home the trophy and win the bowling title. So congratulations to Argentina, Mexico, and Chile on placing on the podium. But the championship this time goes to Argentina. Until next time, I'm Ricochet, and thanks for watching MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubeca.
Welcome back to MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubeca. I'm Ricochet here for our final part of this 3-part tournament. This is target shooting, which will be the quarterfinals and the semifinals, and then, of course, the final of our event tournament today, as you see the team statistics for our countries here in 2019. We had the 2 separate videos that compiled the first round, and now we move on to target shooting for the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finale of this tournament. So the supporters and the teams themselves have shifted gears, made their way to the grandstands of this target shooting arena, and they have the opportunity here to watch hopefully some high scores and some very interesting and entertaining marble competition for today's event. And so we are into the quarterfinals. In case you didn't get a chance to see, or you need a refresher on who's in, Italy and Argentina will face off. Uruguay and England are the other 2 teams on the left side of the bracket. Portugal against Russia, and Brazil will take on Chile. And our first matchup today will be Italy and Argentina. So Argentina will be on the left and Italy on the right. They're all going to go through the same way. Italy with the darker blue marbles. They make their way down first, and after the scoring, it is going to be a win for Italy as they get a couple in the middle and win this one by a score of 200-80. They scored 100 right there. There's a 50, and then everybody else made their way either in the 20s or the 10s. And so a pretty dominant win there for Italy. They move on to the semifinals with a 200-80 victory. 120-point margin of victory there, as Uruguay will take on England now. Pretty easy win. England in the white, Uruguay in the blue. It looks like most of England is going to be there first. Who gets the opportunity? It's all Uruguay. Easy win. They win this one 220-90, as they themselves scored 100 and a 50. They scored a 30 there. And mostly 20s and a 10 for England. So they had no chance, as Uruguay got down the course first. And if you have the first shot at the target shooting course itself, you're going to have the better opportunity to win that matchup. Moving to the right side of the bracket, it's Portugal against Russia. So Argentina and Uruguay, or I'm sorry, Italy and Uruguay will face off. Now Portugal and Russia look rather even. Coming down, and this is going to be Russia, as they win this one by a score of 210-180, much closer. And they did give Portugal the 100 points for their marble that was kind of stuck in between the 100 and the 50. They gave them the 100, but it still wasn't quite enough, as they are eliminated, and Chile will now take on Brazil. Brazil trying to pick up their 3rd championship of the year. They, of course, have been one of the powerhouses. And they will take on Chile. Chile has the first marble. And Chile, this one's going to be close. Chile gets the win, 130-100. 50 of those 100 points for Brazil came right there. Besides that, they scored a 20 and 3 10s, and Chile gets the win, the upset victory, as they take out Brazil. Chile gets the win. And they move on to the semifinal. Back to the left side of the bracket now, it's Uruguay against Italy. The semifinal matchup of this long 3-video tournament, and Italy, they're closest to the shooting range. These marbles very similar in color. The darker blue is going to be Italy, though, and they are out first with the first 2 chances. And the scoring is going to go to Uruguay. Italy scored a 30, but everything else landed in the 10s. And so it's a pretty convincing, easy victory there for Uruguay, who won it right there with that 100. They didn't even need the other 70 that they got. They win it by 100 points and move on to the championship. Italy is relegated to a third-place match and a chance at the podium, but no guarantees. Russia will now take on Chile. Wow, look at that. That was so close, and Chile is going to get the win by being the only one to score one of their marbles on those inner circles. Everybody landed either in the 20s or in that 30. Very nice round, but 130 to 100, Chile takes out Russia now. Two very impressive wins for the Chileans. And now it is Italy against Russia for third place. And a spot on the podium. And here they go. Russia gets the advantage early. They will get the first shot at the range. And they make it count. And they are going to win this one. No, Italy with the 100. They're going to win it. 250s. But the advantage, because of the 100 points, goes to Italy, and they steal away a spot on the podium. 170 to 150. And Italy takes third place. Impressive run there for them. And now Chile against Uruguay. Uruguay with a dominant win in their last matchup, beating Italy. Chile winning it by 30 points in a hotly contested match with Russia. Let's see who gets the advantage and who gets the victory here. And who will have to settle for silver. Uruguay comes out first. Everybody in the 20s for the most part. It's the 50 that's going to win it for Uruguay. 110 to 90. That is the final score as Uruguay picks up a 50. They did have two 10s, and all of the marbles for Chile landing in that 20s area for the most part. So third place is going to go to Italy. You can give them the bronze. Chile, with an impressive run, they were able to upset a couple of heavyweights, but ultimately it's Uruguay that comes out on top. They get the championship win as they beat out 15 other countries in this 3-video tournament. So congratulations to Uruguay as they get their win here in 2019. Chile comes in second, Italy in third, and so that'll do it for our tournament and for today's video. Congratulations again to all of those teams who even made it past that first round. Long, grueling tournament and a tough round and a tough tournament all in all for these teams to compete in. So that'll do it for us here today. But until next time, I'm Ricochet, and this has been MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubeca.
It is the ultimate test of teamwork, of communication, and of skill. Welcome to the relay race. Hello friends, I am Ricochet here for MSPN's coverage of Marble Fubeca. As you see, our large relay race course. Once again, a 16-team field as always for these tournaments, representing their countries and representing each other. This is a very difficult course to manage. It is a very difficult style to manage, as it's not just you, but it's your entire team that is representing your country and depending on each other. As you see, some of our onlookers and some of our competitors for this relay race. Should be a fun one. There's Brazil and China. Belgium is being represented here today. Of course, there is England. The United States will, as always, be here. It is a very large and daunting course. And it should be a very interesting and very passionate, I think, matchup. There are the teams Sweden, Italy, Mexico, and Canada in the bottom left quadrant. Top left consists of Peru, England, Brazil, and Germany. On the right side, you have China, Belgium, Russia, and the United States. That's a powerhouse quadrant there. And then it's Portugal, Cameroon, the Netherlands, and Iceland. Very nice to see Iceland here with us. First matchup, though, is Italy and Sweden. And this is a timed race. Italy in the dark blue, light blue is, Sweden in the dark blue, and Italy is the light blue. Here they go. Winding their way around. They're going to come down towards the funnels. It's a very quick race. Let's see if we can get through that first funnel first. The answer is going to be undetermined. Yep, there it is. Sweden through first. They're through one. There goes Italy. They're through their first. Sweden down to their final funnel. Here comes Italy. Is it going to be too little too late? It's going to come down to the final funnel. Who gets through it first? The answer is going to be Sweden, maybe. Here they come. Circling. There's Italy. Too little too late. Sweden finishes at a time of 40 seconds to 41.13. And Sweden moving on. And now it's Iceland against the Netherlands. You can see there, it's a very quick matchup for these opponents. Iceland in the dark blue, and the Netherlands with an early lead. Iceland got off to a slow start there. The Netherlands trying to take advantage as they come down towards their first funnel. A little bit of a lead there for the Netherlands over Iceland. Looks like the Netherlands have maybe orange. Hard to tell with the lighting on the funnels there. It makes everything look a little bit orange, at least. Both are in their second funnel. It may come down to the final funnel here. Netherlands are through to the final funnel first, and they made it right through very quickly, 28.15. And it's a dominant win for the Netherlands. They got a very quick transition from funnel 2 through funnel number 3 and down to the end. They win it by nearly 12 seconds. And by the way, Iceland finished at a time of 40.03. That would be good enough for a dead tie with the first matchup's winner, Sweden. So they still put up a respectable time, but Iceland is coming home, and the Netherlands are moving on. Germany takes on Brazil. That was not a close one, which is what we've seen a lot from the Netherlands. A lot of close matchups. Here's Germany against Brazil, and down first, very tight. Germany in the black, and yellow is Brazil. They are nearly in a dead heat as they come to that first funnel. We'll see who gets through first. That may be the determining factor. Who can get through that first funnel first? The answer is Brazil. Down to the second funnel. Who gets out of that one first? The answer is still Brazil. They're into their final funnel. Still in the second funnel is Germany. They are running out of time. Here comes Brazil. At the end, it's Brazil with a time of 33.21. They win it. Ahead of Germany, who had trouble in that second funnel and is going to go down with a time of 39.24. Again, a respectable time. They beat three of those. They beat 3 marbles there. 3 teams unable to score what Germany did, but unfortunately for them, their opponent, Brazil, finishes first. Here is China against Belgium. China is red and black, and they are in last right now, trailing to Belgium. Artistic look on the Belgian marble. But speed is the key here. They are pretty tight with each other. Belgium's all over the place, but they get through that second funnel first. Down to their final funnel. Here they come. Here comes China. At the end, it's Belgium to win it with a time of 28.22. And China comes across at 33.21. Just under 5 seconds later, Belgium moves on. Here is Canada against Mexico. Canada in the dark red. Mexico in the green. Seem pretty tight with each other, and it's almost dead even. Looks like a little bit of a lead for Canada. Let's see who gets down to the funnel first, and the answer is going to be Mexico. They make up a lot of time there. Relatively speaking, of course, it's all very tight in terms of actual time, and look at Canada. They may have come to the funnel second, but they are all the way down to the final funnel. What a move by the Canadians! They are down to their final funnel. Can they surround it and get through first? Mexico still has a long way to go. Canada built a huge lead. Can they survive? The answer is yes. Mexico did a great job, but unfortunately for them, they finished 1 second too late. 40-01. Good enough to move Canada into the quarterfinal. And now it's Cameroon against Portugal. These two teams very tight early, and it is Cameroon that gets to the funnel first. We've seen that not necessarily matter. Mexico got to the funnel first and could not close the deal. Cameroon down to their second funnel. So is Portugal. A little bit of a lead, it looks like, right now for Cameroon. But you can make up a lot of time very quickly, and they are going to be dead even. Almost. Oh, what a move! Portugal, with a time of 31:07, ran right through the final funnel, and they win it by over 5 seconds to a time of 36:22, as Portugal is moving on with a very quick final funnel. You can't come back from that when it's at the very end of the course. Great run from Portugal. They're moving on. And now the matchup moves to Peru against England. It is Peru. I'm not sure exactly what color that is. Oh, okay, there it is. It's black and red. They come out second, though. The lead right now belongs to England, who is in a lighter colored marble. They get to the funnel first. Pretty good job, though. It looked like Peru picked up a little bit of time there. You could visibly see as they get through the funnel first. England stuck in the first funnel. Now they're down to their second, but Peru is down to the third. Last funnel to go for Peru. England trying to catch up. They do, but they are going to come up too late. 28:24 the winning time. Peru moving on. England a 32:15. Peru with a nice move. They will face Brazil in the next round in our final matchup. Russia against the United States. Russia in the dark red. The U.S. typically, as always, in their silver. Looks like the United States with an early lead. Let's see. It's Russia who gets out first. Took a turn when they came out of our view. And Russia with a noticeable advantage as they get to the funnels. But the United States look like they're circling that funnel. They get down to the second funnel first. Russia still in the first funnel. They're down to their second. The United States circling the second. They're down to the final funnel. Russia running out of time. They had a big lead. They have blown that big lead, and the U.S. is going to win this one easily. A time of 32:19, and it's going to be, what, nearly 10 seconds? Almost. 9.91 seconds later, a time of 42:10. Russia is eliminated after blowing a pretty big lead. So now on to our quarterfinal matchups. Sweden against Canada. And they are off. Very slowly making their way down. Looked like the lead belonged to Canada. It does. Very quick-fire, fast-paced action course and tournament. Sweden circling, so is Canada. This is looking to be pretty close. Right now, the lead belongs to Sweden and very tight. Sweden, though, makes very quick work. They got through that second funnel incredibly fast. Now they're trying to work on the third funnel. Here comes Canada. They're trying to come back. Canada, watch them to the top side. They are going to come up a little short. Sweden moves on with a time of 44:19. Canada nearly came up with that one. 50:05 is their final time. Sweden, with that big second funnel, moves on to the semifinals. And it's the Netherlands against Portugal now. It's a pretty interesting matchup we just saw. We saw a lot of determining factors, which included that very quick second funnel. Here's Portugal against the Netherlands. They look pretty close. They were. It's just a slight lead for the Netherlands. They grow the lead as they came out of our view, and when they come back in, the lead was definitely larger for the Netherlands than it was when they came out of view. But Portugal makes it up in the funnel. They come out of the first funnel first. Now they're circling the second funnel. The Netherlands needs to pick up their speed. Here comes Portugal. They're into the final funnel. The Netherlands struggling to get through the second. Portugal all over the entranceway. They are headed to the semis as they get the final funnel down with a time of 39:02. They win it, and the Netherlands struggle with the funnels and finish with a time of 47:08. They are eliminated. And Portugal will at the very least play for a spot on the podium. Back to the top left, it's Brazil against Peru. Really like that splatter look on the Peruvian marble. Very interesting look. Very classic yellow and black look for Brazil. Let's see who comes out first. It's Brazil. They're ahead a little bit. But we've seen this area right here, when they come out of our view, a totally different look potentially when they come back in. Not that time though. Brazil holds the lead. But look at Peru. They take advantage, and they're all the way down to the final funnel. Another very quick second funnel. Peru is making very quick time. They are through and into the semis with, I think, the fastest time we've seen. That's a time of 24:09. Very impressive. And Brazil still going to put up a good time, but it's too little too late. 34:11. Peru is into the semis. Very impressive run. And the final matchup of this second round is the United States against Belgium. Again, the artsy look of Belgium. Classic silver for the U.S. Looks like it's Belgium in the lead, and it is. Pretty tight. But we've seen this first funnel can become very important. Look at that. The United States taking advantage. They're out first. Second funnel at the United States. Once again, here comes Belgium. But the U.S. is through. An impressive time, 27:06. They're on to the semis. Belgium at a time of 31:11. They're going to be eliminated. We've seen some impressive runs that have not resulted in moving on. Just saw a couple of them